down in Perth. This should be a terrific match, Kevin Bartlett. Two teams that have been at the front of the competition ladder for most of 1994. It's West Coast and North Melbourne. A great atmosphere. Two terrific teams on paper. Three changes to West Coast. Premiership players coming in. Hetty Evans and Worsfold.
Yes, and a very powerful West Coast Eagles side when you consider 16 members from their 92 Premiership win. We see Peter Wilson playing his 150th game tonight, so we wish him well. He's been in great form. Peter Sumich, not so good this year, 37 goals, but he is a key player for the West Coast Eagles. And, of course, Glenn Jakovic, the big contest tonight between Jakovic and Carey. That's the one we want to see.
And only the one change to North Melbourne. Clarkson out. They've gone for a bit more height with Peter Mann.
Well, there's Wayne Carey, booted 5 goals against the Eagles last time, 5 goals last week against Geelong. Mickey Martin, superb last week, held Gary Ablett to 2 goals. They were both free kicks. And Johnny Longmire has to play well tonight. Poorly last week, was moved into defence, but we do know that he's a big goal kicker.
Well, the best defence in the league, West Coast, against the best attack in North Melbourne. And we'll be back with the opening bounce after this break. Cold night, but really perfect conditions for football. Welcome Ian Robertson to the telecast. Should be a great night of Friday night footy.
Yes, thanks, Bruce, and I'm looking forward to this. The West Coast, of course, after last week's hiccup against the Hawks, and North Melbourne would be striving for a victory this evening. They had a loss, even though it was just a very small one against the Cats.
Hetty and Evans going to the interchange.
I'm tipping West Coast too, by the way, Bruce.
Jakovic and Carey. Kevin, who are you going for?
I'm going for the West Coast Eagles. I think they've got a very powerful side. They've got Hetty Evans and Turley on the interchange bench, and Barnett, Campbell and King for North Melbourne.
And John Rogers is also going for West Coast. Sumich and Mickey Martin. So many jewels everywhere, Kevin, to look for, aren't they? That's one of the great things about the matchups in this game.
Well, we've got Wayne Swash picking up Chris Main-Waring. We've got Stevens picking up Kemp. And on the wing here, we've got Scholl picking up Peter Matera.
Start of the game, West Coast go to the left of screen. Turnbull's been under a cloud throughout the week with a wrist. He is playing. Hard to get the first kick to half forward. Doesn't go that far. Cut off by Rock at half back. There'll be a fair bit of tagging, but North Melbourne so adventurous and a great attacking side with so much firepower. Carey launches himself as he often does. Allison ran hard at the footy, gave a free kick away. Hart will get a second kick. What a season he's had. Looked almost down and out at one stage, Hart, but he's resurrected himself. Matera makes a rare error. McKernan able to chop it off, then cut off again. Well played by Turnbull. Back to Pike. Wobbles one to half or to centre wing. Bond underneath it. Laidley goes with him and punches it out of play. Laidley must love coming back here.
Pike's man for the night looks as though it may be Blakey.
It's going to be 6, currently 11. There is a real chill in the air, remembering it's pretty early here in Perth for this match. Laidley wobbles one, back into the centre square. Main-Waring goes, gets a good bounce.
Well, it turned out that way, Bruce, for Chris Main-Waring at the back. He couldn't quite pick it up. Ross Smith there to apply the tackle. Now Lewis for the West Coast. He gets good distance with the kick, high into the forward line. Not good for the forwards. Dragged off the football there, the North Melbourne defender in Anthony Rock, and he will have his second kick for the game in the left back pocket. Kicks it out towards the wing, and a good mark, excellent mark taken by McKernan. What a fine young player he's proving to be, Corey McKernan. Kicks into the man on the mark, one of the really bad sins of football, and now a free kick has been picked out. It's going to North Melbourne. It may be Big Alex Ischenko to receive the free kick at left half-back for North Melbourne.
And he was superb last week. He hung around half-back against Geelong. He did a fantastic job playing across centre-back. We see there caught high. They'll have to do well around the ground, North Melbourne, because they got thrashed at midfield against the Cats.
Jakovic from the back, Worsfold's handball, gets to Hart, back to Jakovic. Jakovic to half forward, Ischenko getting back to try and plug a hole. McIntosh, Lewis, not quite. Laidley able to chop him off. Quick kick by Rock to the boundary line, finds it at half-back.
It's interesting, Rock back there in defence. Is he sort of playing in the back pocket, maybe?
9-4 on West Coast. Sorry, KB with Sportsbook, and 6-4 North Melbourne. So they're short odds, West Coast. They've been on top of the table for 13 weeks this year. North Melbourne occupied that spot for 3 weeks early on. Mann's quick kick doesn't go very far. Matera tried the half volley, then works it in front, looks for a free kick against Schwass. tries again for another free kick, doesn't get it again. Stevens' handball gains about 15 metres. Getting back ball, handball good under pressure. Worsfold runs into a brick wall and held up there. And as I mentioned, he's only played 3 games in the last 8 weeks, John Worsfold, and I guess it was now or never for him, with the finals coming up pretty soon.
Well, North Melbourne's got a great record against the Eagles at the Wacker. They've won 3 of the 4 games here.
Well, last year was a beauty, KB. We were here and they won by a goal. Archer was the surprise packet there, kicking 5 goals in an unfamiliar role at the time. And this is the last meeting this year where West Coast drubbed North Melbourne, despite the fact Carey kicked 5 goals.
Taken out of the ruck contest by McKernan. He kicks up near the 50-metre line for North Melbourne. It goes to the rear where Hart bumps up brilliantly.
Carey in trouble, Robbo. He's down on the ground.
Hart, hand pass, gives it to McKenna. So while Carey is being attended by the trainers 65 metres away, the mark nearly taken on the opposite wing by Rock. Ball spills for McIntosh. Gets the handball to Kemp. Kemp, a tidy little kick out into the path of the 150 gamer Wilson. Wilson's kick is disciplined to the front, and the kick will go down the ground because Big Alex infringed against Peter Wilson just after the West Coast Eagles player had got rid of the ball.
Well, I tell you what, he was just a fraction late there, Alexishenko. He kept the shoulder tucked in, and certainly North Melbourne is going to make the Eagles know tonight that they're in a contest.
Well, the Eagles have got a chance now to put the first score on the board through Peter Sumich. He'll be kicking from about 40 metres. Distance shouldn't be a problem. He is a beautiful kick. That's a goal. So Sumich kicks the first goal of the game.
And there's a fight.
And a bit of a dust-up. The Spirit looked terrific right at that first bounce. And this is just a follow-on.
Yes, so after Sumich kicks that goal, I'm not quite certain whether it is a beautiful kick for goal. Robbo, I think that's one of the weaknesses of his game, but for him to have his first kick tonight and put it straight through the centre, because Sumich this year has kicked 37 goals, and that's well below his performances over the last 4 years.
Back in the centre square. Blue after Sumich kicked that goal a moment ago. About half a dozen players involved. The kick by Schenko. Worsfold with one hand getting it away. McKenna. Carey's still a bit groggy, by the way. McKenna's left-hand handball a beauty. Matera stopped, waited. Nichols collected him too high. There's a fair bit of feeling here at the moment.
Of course, Trent Nichols played 4 games with the West Coast Eagles, came across from Richmond, but just couldn't make this side. And we see him running down there, Peter Matera,
who squares it to Turnbull. Handball over the top to Worsfold and collected by Schwass. He might have remembered a moment ago with Carey, Schwass. I think he saw number 24 involved in that incident. Then Turnbull again, Mainwaring gets through, then handballs caught against Schwass. Free kick, Mainwaring coming back. West Coast leading by a goal. Sumich the goal scorer. 13
handballs to 2 already by West Coast.
Had a fair bit of the footy, haven't they? Centering kick. McIntosh hurled out of it. Martin's handball. Smith, good kick to Allison at half-back. Kicked a lot of goals this year, 24 in his matches to date. Longmire went to ground, taken by Banfield. Turned inside out last week, Banfield, by Jarman in that big upset at Waverley Park. Crocker from half-back to centre wing. McKenna's got to sit and wait, show some courage. No, yes, free kick against Stevens.
Actually, North Melbourne has given away some silly free kicks, actually. They've been going very strongly at the man.
A little bit too pumped up, you think?
Maybe a little bit pumped up, but they're giving away silly free kicks, and the umpire is correct in paying them.
Well, they've got to be a bit careful because they don't want to give a lead away to the West Coast. McKenna goes for the big torpedo punt kick, not quite getting onto it, but it lands within scoring distance. Strong attack at the football by Wilson, but there's that ever-reliable defender, Martin, for North Melbourne. Kicks it back near the wing. McKenna grabs it. Tries to crash his way through. Then a sweeping hand pass to Pike. Pike goes for goal, hooks the kick. And it hits the behind post on the full, so the free kick will be taken in the right back pocket for North Melbourne. There's Don Pike in the picture.
I don't think the North Melbourne side will upset the Eagles with vigour.
It was Fairley kicking the ball back for North Melbourne, gathered by Rock. Quick hand pass Laidley. Laidley's kick across his left shoulder goes out near the wing. Tried to knock forward there by Turnbull. Kick off the ground was effective. Goes forward for North Melbourne. At the back, Nichols slips over, tries to bash it into the path of Smith. Successfully off the ground, Smith. North Melbourne goal coming up here if he can gather it. Longmire is missed.
What a wonderful tackle there by Michael Brennan, because Longmire thought he had that, but Brennan recovered really quickly, bounced up off the ground there like a rubber man. And a fantastic effort in just bringing him down here. You can see that there, just got to him, and that's terrific defence.
Now to kick the footy back in. North Melbourne trailing by 5 points. Goes short for Lewis, had to stretch a bit. Another good season for Lewis. So another one, he was fantastic in 1990, struggled a bit in the early 90s, but back close to his best. Here's Djakovic, one of the favourites for the Brownlow, to centre wing, gets to McIntosh. As good footy wasn't, Matera feeds off beautifully, slides away with a bounce, centering kick cut off by Crocker, just filling in the hole there. Mitchell White unable to. He's played in the last 3 games, Mitchell White, after being injured for much of the year. Centre wing, McKernan, no free kick coming back to Ball. And again, North giving away a few free kicks. At centre wing, goes up to half forward. Fairley at the back, did pretty well. Stevens' handball, gets to Laidley. Laidley back to Crocker. Crocker switches the left-hand handball to Fairley. Takes his time, Fairley, then gets pretty good distance. Carey hasn't quite been able to get into the game yet. Djakovic easily from half-back, thumps it back towards half-forward. Mitchell White used it pretty well. McIntosh inside 50, tries a little one. It sits, Sumic gives it away superbly. White to kick the second. This is a great start for the Eagles.
What about the hands on Sumic? Is that nearly a throw? How could he get rid of it so quickly?
Actually, they've been very sharp tonight,
Oh,
the Eagles, with their foot passing and hand passing. Beautiful kick before to Djakovic under pressure. We see Mitchell White, McIntosh here with this little kick around the corner, sent it up very well, and just the quick hands across there. And Mitchell White just kicking that goal. Well, maybe it was quick hands, but fantastic play by the Eagles at the moment. 6 free kicks to the Eagles, 2 to North Melbourne.
So the umpire to restart play. And the ruckman to go at it. Big Alex Ishchenko gets his fist to it. Knocked forward by Djakovic. Ball spills in the centre. Awkward bounce there. Allison gathers it pretty efficiently though and gets onto that left foot. Kicks it in towards full forward. Bit of misunderstanding there between Glenn Djakovic and a couple of his teammates, but he's able to mop up, kick it out towards the wing where Matera's taken the mark. Matera on centre wing. He's already had 4 or 5 possessions, Peter Matera. So Brett Allison to tidy up on the champion West Coast wingman. The kick goes in short where Pike is marked, very close to the centre circle. His kick goes inside 50 metres. McIntosh, no mark taken. Or trying to crush his way through. There was that young Bond? No, it was White. Now Stevens kicks it out towards the wing and the mark is taken out there by Carey. Carey gets it to Schwass. Schwass off that left foot. Kicks it into the opposite forward pocket. Well done. He's found Longmire 50 metres from goal. Longmire would have to be a chance to kick this. Gets onto it. By gee, it's a good kick. It's a goal. Covered the players on the line easily. John Longmire kicks his first goal for North Melbourne. That's their first. West Coast lead 2 goals to 1-1.
Well, he has played well against the Eagles before. We see Longmire, that's Carey just giving off that quick hand, getting across the Swash, and Nichols before getting the ball down from defence, and this is a beautiful kick out in front. But Longmire has kicked 8 goals against the Eagles before. That's the highest number of goals by a North Melbourne player, and that was back in 1990 at the MCG.
Excellent goal for Longmire. North back within touch and go forward. Allison got a crawl bounce at half forward. McKernan onto it. With him is McKenna. Djakovic up to half forward now for West Coast. Wilson going. Archer with him out of play. Wilson in his 150th, as we've mentioned a couple of times. 3 seasons at Richmond and now 5 at West Coast. Started his VFL AFL career as a 23-year-old after being a premiership player in Western Australia. So he's done very well to get to 150. Pike ducked, no free kick. Stevens picks himself up. A couple of the outstanding taggers in the game wearing 10 there, Pike and Stevens. Full house, been sold out since Monday night. Smith right on the boundary, Lewis forcing him out of play.
Going back to that 1987 year, Bruce, you might remember North Melbourne offered to play over here twice because of financial reasons, and played here, lost the first game by 74 points, but that was at Subi, then won it at the Wacker by 11 points. So no one wants to really play him over here now.
McIntosh, handball away, Banfield besieged by 3 North Melbourne, and gets a free kick for a high tackle. Outside 50. Well, one of the tackles just a little high. Brian Sheen there with Brett Allen and Hayden Kennedy, the umpires. Banfield has played every match this year for West Coast. Goes for distance, gets it right to the square. Good kick. Ashiko able to get back and just palm it through for a behind. And if you look at the table here, it's such an important game for both. Coming off losses, West Coast and North Melbourne, with tough games coming up next week, Carlton and Melbourne respectively. And West Coast hanging on to the top spot. North Melbourne still with some hope of getting 1 or 2, but if they lose tonight, they go right back into the middle of the 8.
Ross Smith takes the hand pass from Laidley. The ball spills now for Banfield. Banfield's kick across his body. Awkward bounce right on the full forward line. Bash back to the 50-metre line. Taken by Stevens. Hand pass Laidley. Laidley sweeps it wide for Nichols. The fumble critical. Wilson on to him very quickly. Nichols to Laidley. Laidley goes for touch. And he's successful. 9 minutes left in the first quarter. Dean Laidley, an ex-West Coast Eagles player, as is, of course, Alex Ischenko. Ruck contest between Big Ischenko and Turnbull. Ball spills for Archer. Archer's kick quite safely marked on centre wing by McKenna, already having an impact. Jakovic, very, very positive, a big man at centre half back. A lovely long kick to full forward. Oh, McIntosh has nearly taken a screamer. Nearly gathered by Kemp. Kemp's kick across his body. What's he done? The crowd behind the goals are excited, but only slightly as Kemp misses.
You mentioned Jakovic then. He's had 7 kicks in this opening quarter. Wayne Carey 1 handball. So this big contest at the moment is going in favour of Glenn Jakovic.
I think Carey's still shaking off the effects of a bump that he got in the first few minutes. He's really been struggling with it. Smith. Oh, not a good kick. Pike running across, trying to go off the ground. Blakey, Matera now lately outnumbered. Lewis puts on a fan tackle, hangs on for a while. Scholl at centre half back. Bouncing ball, Banfield, Schwass, both missed it. Wilson covers it pretty well, gives Banfield the run of it. Banfield at outside 50, coming back now to Wilson. And,
going to book that player.
Umpire bringing out his book against Archer. Sure why?
No, I'd like to see that one again.
Well, we can't now, because he's been reported. But
well, there must have been an infringement to give the free kick, and the umpires thought it severe enough to report the player. But
Peter Wilson looks pretty distressed.
You've got your tongue firmly planted in your cheek
there.
Yes.
Probably go back and kick a goal from about 90 metres out. Goes short, looks for Mainwaring, gets him. Well, Archer reported. Remember, he was suspended after a game in Sydney this year. So let's... There'll be more about that on Monday night as Mainwaring goes for goal. Good kick. I think he's got it. He has. Fantastic goal. Well, that was all a bit anticlimactic, that report on Archer, and then the long bomb from Mainwaring to give West Coast a 3-2 to 1-1 lead.
Well, this is where North Melbourne had a lot of trouble last week against Geelong. Mainwaring with that fantastic kick. And he doesn't kick a lot of goals, Chris Mainwaring, but that was a beautiful kick. But they did get beaten badly against Geelong around the centre of the ground and across the flanks and the wings. And this is where they've got to do well against the Eagles tonight.
Well, back at the centre, North Melbourne force it forward through Stevens, only as far as Jakovic, but he overruns it, just got his foot to it. Schwass is there, can't control the football, and it goes over for a boundary throw in left half forward for North Melbourne, about 55 to 60 metres from their goal. They've kicked 1-1, and that score kicked by their full forward, John Longmire. Ruckman go at it. Big punch by Ball to the back. Gathered by Smith. Smith's kick across his body, quite safely marked by McKenna, and one of the most complete footballers playing the game, Guy McKenna. Gets it to Hart, who usually delivers it very nicely up the ground, and this is no exception. He hits Matera. The ball just floating away with Matera as he came towards the wing. The kick in towards half forward, and a good mark taken by White. White looks to give the hand pass away. This looks threatening. Pike goes for goal at the line. Nearly kicked over by McIntosh, but it's forced through for a rush behind by Peter Mann.
Well, the signs are very good for the Eagles tonight because the way they're moving the ball and kicking it out in front of their teammates and just their foot skills at the moment is quite extraordinary.
Martin on the end of that from Ross Smith. Two centre wing, Crocker and McKenna. McKenna and Djakovic and Hart across half-back have been fantastic in the early stages. There's McKenna to Djakovic again. Djakovic to half-forward. It's at about 50. All good play by White. Then caught one across the head. Didn't get a free kick. Mate Wearing at 50. Long bomb again. Gives this a ride. Just a little hook at the end. Not a bad kick, though, by Main Wearing from 55. And as KB said a moment ago, he is not the goal-kicking wingman in the team. That's Matera. But tonight he's kicked 1-1. It's a bit stiff here, White.
Yes, definitely caught high there by Peter Mann and should have been paid the free kick.
3-4 to 1-1. Wide and wayward kick, I was going to say, by Smith, but Carey at least able to touch it and out of play at left half back for North Melbourne. You just feel that they haven't quite got going yet, North Melbourne. They arrived here yesterday. Such a vital game for them, sitting on 11 wins and in third place. Rocks, quick kick to centre wing. McKernan, one hand. McKenna's had a feast early. He's been quite wonderful, hasn't he? Out to Main Wearing, no mark paid. North Melbourne look for a free kick, and it'll be a bounce in between centre wing and half forward. Go on.
60 possessions to 42 in favour of West Coast.
Well, that's about what you'd expect with 7 scoring shots to 2.
Ruck contest on the far wing, gathered by Banfield. Kicks it clear. McKenna's good bump, made a path there for Pike. Pike's kick goes to the 50-metre line. Awkward bouncing ball. McIntosh knocks it in front of himself. Now the race is on. The ball spills at the back, and North Melbourne may get clear. Matera applied some pressure, but North Melbourne combining well across half-back. Martin, Scholl, and eventually Stevens. Anthony Stevens sweeping hand pass. Through goes Archer. Archer's kicking towards half forward. Nearly gathered by Allison, but harassed quite fairly and brilliantly by Hart. Knocks the ball clear for Lewis. He overruns it, but not so by Peter Wilson, but couldn't control it and took it over for a boundary throw-in at right half forward for North Melbourne. Some of the crowd, an absolutely perfect night for football. The West Coast leading by 15 points at this stage. Controlled there by Nichols. Now Lewis. Lewis's hand pass out in front of McKenna. McKenna bombs away and gets good distance with a wobbly punt kick, and brilliantly controlled by McIntosh. We wondered about North Melbourne's key forwards. Well, it's West Coast key forwards that are slaughtering North Melbourne. Oh, that should be 50 metres against White. Ischenko was going to take the mark. White jumped into him, and no penalty. Ischenko kicks it down towards centre half forward. Carey's got it. Well, that's his first effective possession. He kicks wide, out in front of Allison, but chipping in is Rock. And Rock has marked Main Wearing just a little late on the scene. He's 40 metres from goal, 45 metres, and he's got a chance to kick this for North Melbourne.
In fact, Carey meant that kick to go to Rock. He saw him run down and he kicked to the space to enable Rock to just keep running onto that ball. That was a wonderful kick by Carey. Good to see him take that mark because he was pushing and shoving with Djakovic.
Rock for North Melbourne's second goal. It drops in short, punched away, goes through Hart's legs. Gathered now by Nichols. Nichols from 40 metres. Hooks the kick offline and through for a behind to North Melbourne.
Well, that's a bad miss because they're the sorts of goals that Trent Nichols has to kick. He was on his left foot. He's a little rover. That's got to be straight through the centre because if you don't do that, well, then, of course, you're letting yourself down and you're letting the side down. They're goals that have to be kicked. McKenna has been
outstanding, and so is Hart running off Allison in this first term. Yes, they haven't got many goals from the Rovers in recent weeks. Rock's kicked 2 in the last 9 matches going in. And Nichols, after being productive early, injuries just held him up a bit. Pike wide, McIntosh. The big guns all firing for West Coast in the first 25 minutes of this game. McIntosh goes to the 50. White, Fairley. Good grab by Fairley at the second attempt. Had an excellent year. Had quite a bit of publicity in Fairley. A quiet achiever, now working as a postman. He's been on nightly news in Melbourne, getting his fair share. Handball on the up was pretty good. Gets to Crocker. Crocker to Blakey. Blakey with a probing kick to centre-half forward. Oh, fantastic mark by Carey. What a grab.
Well, that takes a lot of courage to run with the flyer of the ball. And there's nothing that this guy does that really does surprise us, but that is just a wonderful mark. Eyes on the ball all the time. That's why he is a great champion. And this looks like turning into a great contest now. Djakovic well on top early in the match with 7 possessions to 1 handball to Carey, but Carey with a couple of kicks in the last 5 minutes starting to get back into the game.
Well, an important kick. I hope this is taken the right way, but if Johnny Worsfold had been David Hart on that occasion, I think he might have just kept on going. Carey's shot. It's very close. Umpire, is he going to get another kick here?
It's a point.
So he's going to get another kick. This is against Worsfold for holding on to Nichols. And Longmire having a word to Worsfold. So Carey just missing, and Nichols to have the shot from 25 metres right in front. Has to go here, doesn't he? Very important kick now for North Melbourne. Kicks from 25 metres, puts it through. It's a goal.
Well, of course, Carey at no stage looked like he was going to pass the ball to Trent Nichols, always going to have a shot. But free kick obviously given away there, and the third umpire picking him up. We see down there at the moment David Hart just having a few words to the umpire, just checking it out with umpire Sheen, what exactly went on there. But the fact is he was paid the free kick, and Nichols finished the job up by putting us through the centre.
Fair amount of verbalising going on then, especially by Nichols and Carey. So play restarted back at the centre. Big leap by McKernan. Couldn't get the ball clear though, and the umpire will have to bounce once again. Blakey in the picture there for North Melbourne. So North Melbourne obviously holding Don Pike's performances in high esteem, giving the job to tag him to John Blakey. The kick goes to the 50-metre line. McIntosh just gets rid of the ball. The umpire deemed it as all clear. Taken by Blakey, gets a sweeping hand pass back to Smith. Smith's kick chopped off spectacularly by McKenna. Geez, a great player, Guy McKenna.
Well, he's a superb defender. He won their best and fairest in '89. He's been in their top 3 on 4 occasions, and last week the first player to be ordered off with the blood rule. But you can have a look at his eye tonight, you can see where it's been cut. But what a marvellous defender.
Kemp kicks the ball forward. McIntosh into Wilson's path. Wilson couldn't quite control it. Taken by Crocker. Now a chance for North Melbourne. No, they still can't get clear. But Pike can. He's dragged by the leg. The tackle was all right to start with, but it slipped down around the thigh-knee area. And, of course, the free kick now to Dean Kemp at left half forward for the Eagles. He kicks an ordinary one, but it's brilliantly marked. That's hard to take.
Oh, those gloves, that's the key there, Robbo.
Now, they fair.
Of course they're fair.
They're fair, right. Just a comment last week that Severio Rocker had trouble kicking goals for Collingwood, and someone thought maybe the glove held onto the ball too long as he tried to drop it and threw it offline, and that's why he missed the goal. So we'll see what Turnbull can do from 50 metres. It's a thumping kick. It'll land in the square. Crocker at the back. The ball trundles through for a rush behind to the West Coast.
Well, the gloves have got to be fair because there's no rule in the AFL that says that you can't wear them.
Fair enough.
Smith short to Rock. I think he might have to come back. 3-5 to 2-2. North have held on pretty well here. West Coast look like opening up a good lead at quarter time. And in the dying seconds, North are certainly still in touch. They can regroup. Out to half back by Rocks. Had quite a few touches early. Lewis held up for a moment. Still can't get it away. West Coast still in attack. But inside 10 seconds, North should be safe. Chris Lewis, lots of goals again this year.
Rocker's had 8 possessions so far.
Rocker?
Rock?
Oh, Rock, sorry. I thought you said Big Sav. I couldn't see him out there. Here's Lewis trying to break through. McKernan. Schwass forces it to the boundary line. Siren sounds. Entertaining opening corner. Plenty of feeling here. Nichols and also Worsfold. This has been going on for a while. Remember that free kick to Nichols, resulting in North Melbourne's second goal. And at quarter time, the scoreline West Coast 3-5-23. North Melbourne 2-2-14.
A footy treat. First up, Sydney and Carlton. Then Adelaide at home to Brisbane. Sunday on 7.
Goal scorers for West Coast, Mainwaring, Sumich and White, they're 3-5. Nichols and Longmire for North Melbourne, they're 2-2. Quarter time 3-5, 2-2, 9 points the difference. Now the news we've just got in from Melbourne is that following the brawl last week, prior to the match between Collingwood and Essendon, the AFL, in accordance with the conduct unbecoming rule, has fined Damien Monkhorst, who played a slashing game for Collingwood, $5,000. So Damien Monkhorst has been fined $5,000 under the conduct unbecoming rule. And the AFL Commission, in a further note, has said that it's considering adopting a rule for on-field brawls, including penalties for clubs and players. Now that's the information we've been given tonight just a few moments ago from Melbourne. So that is big news, with Monkhorst being fined $5,000 from that brawl between Essendon and Collingwood. Well, John Rogers had a terrific day. He's been celebrating the 1964 Claremont Premiership here in Western Australia. John, we'll go away from that for a moment. I know that was a good day. It's a pretty good opening by West Coast.
Oh, top opening, Bruce. Yeah, what a pressure cooker, 7 or 8 minutes in that first quarter. The problem with Wayne Carey, Glenn Jakovich gave an almighty hip and shoulder in the opening couple of minutes, and he hurt that shoulder of his that's been giving him problems, and he didn't take too kindly to it. But a great quarter by Jakovich. The Eagles very creative midfield, very, very strong in defence. And North Melbourne seem at stages, Bruce, to be standing back, letting the Eagles create and then trying to do something about it. I understand you've got some vision of Sumich, so I'll let you go now.
Well, we've also got Carey and Worsfold just having a word to one another, the respective captains. There's a little bit in this. So when the footy gets to half forward for North Melbourne, watch out. 3-5 to 2-2. Start of the second quarter, Friday night football. Third place North against top of the table West Coast. Carlton sitting back in Melbourne to play Sydney on Sunday, licking their lips at the moment. Worsfold's kick good. McIntosh, excellent first quarter, wasn't he?
Some problems.
Sure is on man in the first quarter and a bit. Sumich at the back, Martin in the front. Handball by Archer, okay. Laidley run down though, all boot going in their free kick surely. And it is, and it's going to come back to Dean Laidley or to Ross Smith.
And that's good. There was a player last week, Bruce, looked as though he may have broken his arm, David Schwartz in Brisbane, from something similar to that.
Archer keeps it low, missed by both Ashenko and Carey. Ashenko had first crack at it. Jakovich takes his time, gets away or too easily, then takes the bounce, squares it up to Pike. Pike through the centre, can attack strongly, goes to Lewis with a terrific kick. And that all started because Jakovich was able to waltz around 2 or 3 North Melbourne opponents.
And a bad miss by Ashenko too, which he does very well, dropping back and building the wall there, but he missed that one, went through his hands, and then Jakovich, of course, on top at the moment. But this is where the Eagles are killing North Melbourne tonight. Their field kicking, absolutely superb, and once more just out in front. North Melbourne tonight, their kicks have dropped short, and players have been trying to take the ball on the half volley, but that hasn't happened with the Eagles.
Normally a great kick for goal, Lewis. This one he's hooked and missed it. 4 times this year he's kicked more than 3 goals in a match, including 5 against Melbourne. So that's a bad miss to Lewis. 3-6 to 2-2. 9 shots to 4 West Coast. North Melbourne very much in this as Smith goes wide.
Ross Smith's kick well outside 50 metres. Taken now by Fairley. Fairley's kick goes back towards the wing. Kicked in mid-air by Jakovich, which was reasonably effective. Nearly gathered by Matera. He allows the football to bounce over in front of himself there for a throw-in on centre wing.
He plays the ball, Jakovich. He plays the ball on its merits, and that's what a lot of players don't do when they play on good players. They tend to watch the player and push and shove, but you watch Jakovich then, he actually attacked the ball and got there ahead of Wayne Carey.
Yes, good play again. This is Schwass, just gets his right foot to it, kicks it clear of the pack, only to see it go over for another throw-in, and the bench there, Bond.
Tony Evans and also Craig Turley.
So the Eagles looking reasonable at the moment, but North Melbourne, I thought, fought back at the end of the first quarter. Disposal 72 in favour of West Coast, 65 in favour of North Melbourne. It was a little bit more lopsided than that about halfway through the first turn. Ruckman ball and McKernan, and the free kick will go to Ball. Didn't see much in that ruck contest for an infringement either.
Well, I've always been unhappy with free kicks given to Ruckman in ruck contests. I think they get it very, very easy.
Ball's kick is a high one towards centre-half forward. Nearly gathered by Kemp. Tackled. Did he have the football? Well, Blakey could perhaps deem himself a little stiff, but the free kick is with Kemp. Kemp goes wide into the left forward pocket. High was Pike, couldn't take the mark, gathered by Blakey. Blakey gets some space for himself and then kicks it out to a vacant wing area. The numbers are in favour of North Melbourne. Stevens gathers the ball, looks to give the hand pass away. It's a rather awkward one. It bounces in front of Crocker. McKenna a chance, spinning out of trouble. Twice was Nichols. Sweeping hand pass. In trouble Stevens, got out of it. Good pressure being applied by the West Coast, but now Nichols is clear for North Melbourne. Nichols kick towards full forward. It's smashed away. And the West Coast defence is standing up quite spectacularly. Watch this combination. It finishes with Matera. Matera's kick to a left half forward. Punched away. The ball spills for McIntosh. He can't control. Oh, high over the top there was Fairley. And McIntosh receives the free kick as a North Melbourne player is carried off the ground. It looks as though it's Anthony Rock. And King comes on to take his place. So North Melbourne having a bad loss there. Anthony Rock a little distressed.
Yeah, so Rock being carried off, went down on the half-forward flank. Let's just hope it's not a major problem to him.
Well, if you're being carried off, it's a bit of a problem, I would say. McIntosh goes for goal. Kicks it to the line. It's helped over for a behind by the North Melbourne defenders. So a rushed one for the West Coast. That's their fourth.
Just held up in the breeze then. North Melbourne kicking with a slight breeze in this second term.
Rock did have a knee injury late last year. Let's hope it's not associated with that. Schwass's kick after the Martin handball. Again, Jakovic, as he did a moment ago, thumps it away from Carey. Early days yet, Jakovic on top in that duel.
If you bomb away like that, it sets it up for the defender, surely.
Yes, that's one of the problems for North Melbourne at the moment. I said before, they're kicking not really out in front, and therefore Carey can't run onto the ball.
Wilson just has to concede a bit of ground right in front of us here at the cricket ground in Perth. Cold, still night. We've had plenty of rain in Western Australia, and in particular in Perth over the last week, but not threatening tonight. This the start of what should be a very big round to sort out some places in the top 8 maybe. Pike's little kick, Wilson onto it. Gets back, some reasonable shifting to help him. Kicks it to just outside 50, Hedy's big fly. Unable to take it, Mainwaring came crashing through. Fairley gets it back to Mann. So often tonight, North Melbourne just missing their target. That's Carey at his best, isn't it, when he launches himself. And at the back takes the mark at centre wing. Then it goes high again. Longmire in a wrestling match with Brennan. A bit of strength there. Worsfold gives it to Kemp. Kemp back to Hart. Hart was outstanding in the first quarter. Good mark by Wilson at full stretch there against Archer.
Most of North Melbourne's kicks go to a contest. Kicked into the forward line there. It was a contest, one-on-one contest. Not getting any easy balls whatsoever.
Not a good kick by Wilson. Percentage always low. Stevens cuts off Kemp. Over the back, Hart running onto it. He's been sweeping brilliantly, hasn't he? He may go to Brennan. He does sweep it away laterally. Brennan at centre-half back goes wide, looking for Matera. Usually wins a one-out competition, does there.
Geez, perception there, Peter. Matera was quite spectacular to gather that ball. Gave it to Brennan, then back to Matera. Matera's on centre wing. He thumps it high in towards centre-half forward. Chance for North Melbourne to knock the ball away. Sumic, McIntosh is there. He's a chance again. Tries to get it to Hedy. Bumped off the football by Smith. Sumic was pretty good. Archer's little kick finds touch, but it's well within scoring distance for the West Coast. They lead 3-7 to 2-2. So just 2 points being added to the West Coast side as we see Anthony Rock.
Yes, jumping high there against Don Pike. Now maybe just as he comes down, he lands awkwardly. You can see his right leg there, really stretched.
The ball at full forward, good mark by Martin after the kick from Wilson. Sumic got an early goal. Martin's tightened up very well. Low scoring match so far. North has kicked more points than any other team in the competition. West Coast, as we've come to expect from them under Mickey Malthouse, has been miserly again this year, conceding far and away fewer points than anyone else there. Rock with the left leg, the problem. Doesn't look good, does it? But we'll try and get some sort of a report on that. Here's Kemp, centering kick beauty. Absolutely outstanding. The vision first class, and he couldn't have found a better man for having a shot for goal than Brett Heady.
Well, Kevin, if there was any doubt about whether the West Coast were going to win, it had to be North Melbourne around the middle of the ground. They had to stop those guys like Pike and Kemp and Matera and Mainwaring. They're dynamite when they get the football.
Well, they've been superb tonight, and we see here Heady just taking this chest mark. They've won a lot of easy balls like that tonight, the West Coast, because they've just been fantastic in the way that they've used the ball. But this was the problem for North Melbourne last week against Geelong, because they had 100 possessions against them in midfield.
Kick by Heady. It's the post. He's done that before here when we've seen them this year. Heady's missed the last couple of games with injury, and stop-start sort of season for him. He's had some terrific games. Ironically, one of them in a losing team against Collingwood when he kicked 6, but not his best season.
Well, he's kicked 31 goals for the year.
Not good signs for West Coast, though. They've had 11 scoring shots, only resulting in 3 goals. The kick by Scholl goes out towards the wing, and it's forced over there by Jason Ball and McKernan. So the ball will be thrown in just forward of centre wing, favouring the West Coast. Pretty good crowd in attendance to watch this match. Craig Scholl, little hand pass, fairly under a bit of pressure, but he's able to gather the awkward ball and then kick across his left shoulder down towards half forward, and a good mark taken there by McKernan. McKernan just having a little run on the ball when necessary. Give Ischenko a bit of a spell. Punched away, gathered there by Longmire, gets it to Blakey. Blakey to King. King, left foot snapshot for goal, won't get the distance. Back there is Brennan. He's got plenty of space. He can gather the ball and then take one bounce. Then goes long out towards the wing. 2-on-1, favouring North Melbourne. McKernan and Ischenko, but it's brilliantly gathered. This is young ball, maturing with every game. Gets it to Matera. Matera gets past Nichols, or does he? Took him on and then took Scholl on and beat them both pointlessly. Matera kicks.
Ran too far.
Ran too far. I suppose if the 3 of us say it, the people will get the message eventually, won't they? Lewis off the ground and going straight to the room. So maybe a serious injury to Chris Lewis.
Nichols from centre wing. Persistence paying off. They're getting that free kick. Longmire on the end of it. No North Melbourne now. Stevens from about 45. Off target and out of play. But Kevin, if North can ground your goal here, they're suddenly within a kick. It's 3-8 to 2-2.
It's nice to be outplayed and still only be 11 points down on the scoreboard. And sooner or later they'll find their bearings and they'll play a lot better than what they're doing now.
Blakey looking for a free kick, none coming. Kemp to Worsfold, plenty of numbers again for West Coast. Worsfold tries to cut off King, who chases Hart. Hart bangs it out wide, gets distance. Man who's been beaten by McIntosh early, tried just to keep it in. Matera, danger here, caught, spins, turns, throws it away in the end. Good play, North Melbourne. A big play. Laidley gets away. Carey's got 4 against him. Jakovic sweats off again, brilliantly at the back. McKenna chips it across towards Mainwaring. But Fairley, who's done pretty well in the last 10 minutes, quickly onto Allison, who should kick a goal. On the run, this is a 1 North then. Allison sets himself, goes for it, and hasn't got it. Really should have gone, but Longmire's got it. No free kick, no mark paid. Allison misses it, ball gets away. Trip, free kick, big play, and went against North Melbourne. Jakovic with a bounce at centre half back. In pursuit is Schwass, also in pursuit is Carey. Jakovic goes long to centre half forward, Crocker getting back. Suddenly the tempo of the game has risen.
Gee, I think you had that written down in the book there, Bruce.
He's a finisher normally, isn't he?
Yes, he seemed to be a little bit tentative there, Brett Allison. But the football at centre half back with Nichols. Nichols now goes straight down the ground. McKenna favoured by this, but it's punched away very well by Schwass. Carey back to Schwass. Schwass trying to get onto that left foot, ducks and weaves and get past Wilson, then kicks in towards full forward. Contest back there, not a mark. Kemp gets it down to Ball, he's grabbed again, and will that be a reportable incident?
May well be.
I would think so.
He has been.
Point Blake, McKernan reported.
Gee, Archer and McKernan both reported in the first half. Archer seemed completely anticlimactic at the time. No idea why McKernan, well, we had an obvious look there.
Well, I think that as soon as he made that tackle, most of us felt that he was going to be reported for that, because this year they've been reported for doing exactly that.
Haven't always been suspended though, have they?
No, not always suspended, but whether it's with the foot or whether it's by hand.
Didn't Nichols get off recently? I think he did from North Melbourne in a game we saw.
A couple of players have got off this year on tripping offences, but they've certainly been reported, so they've got to face the tribunal.
Kick goes wide to half-back, taken by Johnny Worsfold. His kick, marked just inside. No, the umpire deems that Banfield, well, he wasn't paid the mark by the central umpire, and it's spilt over for a boundary throw-in. Between wing and left half-forward, favouring North Melbourne. They've kicked 2 goals too. The Eagles are 3-8. Kemp can't break clear. McKenna just gets a vital touch to the football. Tackled is Worsfold by Schwass, and the umpire with no alternative but to bounce. Some terrific football already. We haven't seen a big score put on the board by either side, but terrific contests and great football. The ball spills out towards the centre. On his own is Worsfold. What can he do with the footy? In short, favours North Melbourne, and getting back as man to take a safe mark. Gets it away to Nichols. Nichols gets past. Just a little bit difficult for Trent Nichols, but he made it look quite simple in the finish. Kemp getting some vital possessions. Worsfold back to McKenna. McKenna short. Reception, no. Chipping in was Stevens. The kick towards half-forward. It's punched away again by Jakovic. And this young man, I mentioned about growing in stature, it's Ball. The kick to half-forward. No mark. The ball there for Evans. Little hand pass McIntosh to his own advantage. Breaks the tackle, but man's got him. Ball spills. King it is for North Melbourne. Desperate stuff for the Northerners. The kick by King. No mark there. Gathered by Longmire. Sweeping hand pass into the path of McKernan. Can Corey McKernan kick a goal? No. North Melbourne lamenting.
Well, they've wasted 2 really good opportunities, McKernan then and Allison before, to kick goals. And the Eagles have been well on top in general play. It's not showing on the scoreboard because of their poor kicking, and North Melbourne now wasting some chances in themselves to get a little bit closer.
McKenna at half-back, up towards centre wing. King should have got a free kick, was held on to. Kevin, North Melbourne's half-back line has been terrific in the last 10 minutes. Under great pressure, they've stood firm.
They're falling down across half-forward. They don't seem to have any crummers across half-forward. Allison has to really lift his game. They've got him now playing out of the goal square with Longmire and Carey further up the ground. Nichols has been doing quite well, mainly across half-back. He's been picking up quite a lot of kicks there, helping out, getting back. And, of course, their ruckman, Ishenko, also has been getting back. They're a bit concerned, I think, after that first quarter blitz, so they are building that wall quite well.
Well, McKernan, who's a fantastic kick normally, missed one a moment ago. And if Carey's not firing, McKernan could be the trump. Doesn't really get hold of it and hits the post. Made the distance all right. He just didn't time it completely. He's got such power, so he kicks his second point. 2-4-3-8. John, a couple of injuries. Rock and Lewis, any report on either?
Yes, Bruce. Anthony Rock's hurt his ankle. It's being iced at the moment. It's actually just above the inside of the right ankle, so it'll be interesting to see what's wrong with that. And Chris Lewis has got a cork to his leg, so he's gone off for treatment as well.
Thanks for that. Pike sweeps it to Worsfold.
The kick goes down the wing, and it's been taken by Mainwaring. Wilson running for the hand pass. Now Mainwaring gives it to Wilson. Gets past Scholl onto that right foot, kicks it towards the forward pocket area. No mark, it's Laidley. Forced to kick quickly. The wobbly punt kick goes close to the line. It's helped over by Archer from Wilson. The boundary throw-in will take place. So certainly with possessions around the middle of the ground, North Melbourne getting back into it. West Coast dominated the early part of it. Nearly kicked forward by Archer, gathered by Kemp. Little hand pass Mainwaring. He squeezed a kick out of that. That was terrific by Mainwaring, and the mark is taken by Evans. Evans plays on and kicks towards full forward. At the back, Sumich, punched away by Martin. Ball spills now for King, and determinedly, King gets it out towards half forward, punched by Jakovic. Mainwaring is there again. He may take this over. You'll be happy for that, Chris Mainwaring, I would think. 2 North Melbourne players, Carey and Scholl bearing down on him. You see Brett Allison receiving some instructions from the coach.
Campbell on for him, Robert.
Sorry?
Campbell's on.
Campbell's on for Allison. And we mentioned that the coach and his staff are just up from us, so it'll be interesting if Dennis Pagan gets a little excited later on in the day. Now, Nichols, who's done well for North Melbourne, gets onto the left foot. He's a good kick too, Trent Nichols. Kicks to the 50-metre line, punched away by Jakovic, and it's over. Carey looking back to the umpire, feeling as maybe though Djakovic put his arm on his shoulder. Scholl off the ground.
Allison on. So Allison has come back on for Scholl. Nichols has been terrific tonight, showing tremendous speed, going in very, very hard for the ball, because he wants to also prove to the Eagles that he was probably a better player than what he showed when he was here.
Stevens just squeezes it out, gets it right to full forward. No goals kicked in about 18 minutes of football in the second quarter. It's just the little things that account for a lot tonight, aren't they?
Yes, the one percenters, you know, good strong punch from behind, a good clean take, nice tap down, building the wall, you know, a great tackle. This is the sort of thing that can turn a game.
Allison, good tackle by Mainwaring. Djakovic, who has been outstanding to centre wing, gets a huge roar every time he touches Djakovic. Wilson now free kick going to Archer against Wilson. Crockles in the front spot. So Archer from centre wing, and North going all right here at 3-8 to 2-4. They've just steadied up, held up, and right at this moment, in racing terms, these two teams are stride for stride. Neither team able to break the other. Banfield comes away and gets good distance. Almost to 50. McIntosh kept his balance pretty well. Mann has tightened up there. Eddie put a tackle on. Smith squeezes it out. Blakey has the run. He should get onto it pretty well and be able to deliver now. Has a bit of time. Gets around Turnbull, then goes to centre-half forward. The target, Carey. Djakovic, well done again. Got up high, punched it away. Schwassi's been pretty quiet. Kemp's got it at half-back, over to the racehorse of Matera. Matera again at half-back. Well played by Stevens, cutting across and affecting a terrific smother and spoil.
Just if Peter Matera could be aware of it, I reckon that he's just taking a little bit too much time.
Well, he's tried to beat a couple of players tonight when he probably could have kicked the ball and been...
He's going to do it again, Kobe. Look at him.
Here.
Takes on 4 and does get a quick kick away. Sorry to interrupt, but he is exciting every time he touches it.
Oh, he's fantastic the way that he can get around players. But the point being made is he's not being really direct tonight. He's actually had the opportunity on a couple of occasions to go direct, but he's elected to try and beat a player.
Being a little bit too individual, too. There are another 17 or 18 out there that can help him out. Pike it is that gathers the ball from the ruck contest, and Sumic nearly took the mark. Mainwaring leaves it behind. A battle there, Fairley kicks it wide, not wide enough. Pike will swoop on it. Tackle, now Kemp. Kemp will go for goal. Dean Kemp, he's dogged it. Well, it's been a great struggle between these two top sides. And the West Coast have broken the shackles, a goal through Dean Kemp.
Well, he won their best and fairest in their premiership year, so he's a pretty fair player, is Dean Kemp. We see Don Pike here, gets onto the ball, could have caught one high there, but just able to get it across to Kemp, and a pretty good snapshot, because the goals are pretty hard to get in this game.
Important goal in the context of this low-scoring first half. Double the score, 4-8 to 2-4. McKenna's smother good. Nichols with his pace. McKenna right onto him. Nichols scoops it out. Free kick to Crocker, not paid. Mainwaring coming in. Haji Campbell attacking McKenna. Running right at him. Brian Sheehan coming in.
Actually. Yeah, I watched that very closely.
He probably felt there should have been a free kick to Crocker, and he's responded.
Schwass giving him a pat on the head, so obviously...
There's a Crocker one, and you watch, we might see Campbell bang, running into McKenna. Ishenko gets the tap. Handball by Archer. Stevens' quick kick to half forward. Carey works to the front. Djakovic clearly on top here. He's turning Carey inside out tonight. The champ's going to have to lift at centre-half forward. Djakovic goes to centre-half forward. Mann gets it away. Banfield North can ill afford a goal here. Now Kemp. Blakey holds it up in the centre square.
That was important for North Melbourne.
Yeah, can't afford one here, Robbo.
No.
With 3.5 minutes remaining of a really tight and low-scoring first half at 4-8 to 2-4.
So the umpire bounces the ball, and the ruckman, Big Alex Ishenko, gets his hands on it. Don Pike gets a kick. It clears the pack of players, gathered by Campbell. Well done. Kicks across his left shoulder in towards half forward. Back goes ball, but it covered he. Carey overrunning it, now taken by Hart, and brilliantly tidied up. He hardly ever misses his target. Worsfold, sweeping hand pass, Mainwaring. He can give it to Evans. No, he decides to go long in the McIntosh direction. Heady in trouble. McIntosh running on. No, free kick against maybe Heady, to be taken by Ross Smith in the left back pocket. 3 minutes left in the first half. Ross Smith, the kick goes high towards the wing. Chance for Campbell, being harassed out of it. Worsfold happy to see it over for a throw-in. And on centre wing, that is exactly what we'll see.
Campbell's dad was a pretty tough player for South Fremantle, Basil Campbell. He was quite a legend over here.
So the ruckman, this time it's big Alex Zhenko in front. Oh, very, very rash whack at it there with his boot was by Stevens. And the free kick will go to the West Coast, taken by Dean Kemp. Kemp looking for the short kick. Pike trying to get away, but well, they still get away. Worsfold's run into a position where he was on his own and took the full required distance, kicked it to the goal front. No mark. Ball spills. McIntosh tries to get it clear, but only as far as Ross Smith. Ross Smith's kick, high, close to the line. Well, Matera probably could have nearly marked that. He must have known it was going out on the full. Short pass has been marked by Wilson. So Wilson would be a chance to kick a goal from here. The player on the mark is about 45 metres from goal. Peter Wilson will have to kick it 50 metres at least to cover the players in the square.
Just into a slight breeze, so it just might drop short as we see Alex Zhenko coming off the ground and John Barnett coming on for North Melbourne.
But Peter Wilson going for his first goal. Short pass, good. Kemp. He's perhaps not much closer, but he goes for the goal, and he will get it. It's home. Kemp has kicked his second goal, both in the second term, and very important goals for the West Coast. They lead 5-8 to 2-4.
And Stevens has been a very good player for North Melbourne, but Kemp has just got away from him in the last 5 minutes, and he's kicked 2 valuable goals. And Peter Wilson did very well then, just to bring him that little bit closer, because Wilson obviously wouldn't have made the distance into the breeze.
Back in the centre. Well, suddenly West Coast have opened up a break. 5-8 to 2-4. Their midfielders, particularly Kemp and Pike, causing some damage here. Matera, brilliant. Wonderful skills. Wilson goes off the ground. Now Blakey. North needing a late goal. Carey's got it. Outside distance. Longmire, there's a vacant goal square. Carey's going to bang away. Torpedo punt is a beauty. Right there, bouncing, but out of play. But right alongside the pocket, inside the last minute before half-time. 5-8, 2-4. You'd think North would have to score here. Must get a goal just before half-time. West Coast have worked very hard to get 2 late goals from Kemp to give them a big lead. In a low-scoring game, Worsfold misses it. Hart, Campbell tried to get away. Jakovic, what a supreme defender he has been in the first half. Symbolic of how well he's played, crashing through there at half-back out of play.
And the crowd has really appreciated the contest tonight between Jakovic and Carey. They're right on their toes, and every time, of course, Jakovic gets the ball, there's an almighty roar, and every time he actually beats Wayne Carey, he gets the applause of the crowd. But he is playing a marvellous game at the moment, is Jakovic.
It's 11 kicks to Jakovic and 4 kicks and 2 hand passes, 5 marks to Carey.
Ball, who's been pretty good too. Mainwaring in the front spot. Allison comes in front of him. Now Mainwaring forces it out. Just 20 seconds remaining in this first half. 5-8 to 2-4. Kemp, the multiple goal scorer for West Coast with the couple. Chris Mainwaring, one of a number of Eagles players, hovering around the 150. He has achieved that. What a great career he's had with the club. Turnbull held up. But I think West Coast will be pretty happy with everything that's happened in this first half so far. Unfortunately for them, Lewis going off injured, but Rock injured for North Melbourne, and repeating 2 reports here for North Melbourne, Archer and McKernan, both in the opening half. As the siren sounds at half-time, and in a low-scoring term, in a low-scoring half, in that quarter, West Coast kicked 2-3 to just 2 points, and they do have a handy break at half-time. They're leading at 5 goals, 8-38 to North Melbourne, 2-4-16.
Jack Newton with the latest US PGA golf. Sports World on Sunday on 7.
Qantas scoreboard at half-time. The Eagles 5-8, North 2-4. The goal scorers Kemp 2, Sumich 1, Mainwaring and White, and Longmire and Nichols have the goals for North Melbourne. So it's a handy break, 20. They don't give much away, do they, West Coast Eagles? When you look at North Melbourne, so potent up forward all year on the Qantas scoreboard. 2-4 at half-time against 5-8. Kevin, can they get back into it?
Look, I don't think so, Bruce. The back line of the West Coast Eagles has been absolutely superb. Jakovic has taken the points tonight over Wayne Carey. They're just bombing the ball down to Wayne Carey. We see here this
after the first goal,
after the first goal when Sumich was paid a shot at goal. And Timbers were afraid early in the game. North Melbourne gave away a lot of silly free kicks. At one stage it was 6 free kicks to 1, and I don't think that did their cause a lot of good. But Jakovic has been superb, but Wayne Carey, the ball's just being bombed into him at the moment. He needs to move around so they can kick the ball out in front. This is what the Eagles have been doing. If they had have kicked straight in that first quarter, they would be much longer further in front, I should say. And we see this big bomb here by Chris Mainwaring, who's usually not a goal kicker, but there's a slight breeze going to that end, and that just helped him get that extra distance.
They've been a bit one-dimensional, haven't they, North Melbourne? Just the long bomb, hoping for Carey. Kemp actually didn't really time that one, but that was one of his 2 goals late.
Well, just on Wayne Carey, of course, usually one-on-one he can beat his opponent because he's so big and strong. But against Jakovic, he's got a player who matches him physically. Well,
Mitsubishi match stats till half-time, showing us that plenty more of the footy to West Coast. That's not surprising. They've got a very handy lead here at half-time, and we'll take a break now, and we'll be back with the second half after this. Just before we do it, very briefly, your reaction to the merger situation?
Well, I was interested in what Mike Sheehan said and his criticism of Fitzroy, but let's never forget there's 2 clubs in a merger, and Melbourne hasn't come out and said anything either. So if Fitzroy is to be criticised for not saying anything at this stage, surely Melbourne has to say something on the subject as well.
We'll talk to Gary Lyon, the Melbourne captain, after this match tonight. A break, second half after this. Welcome back to the Wacker. Friday night football, and it's 5-8 to 2-4. Start of the second half. Low scoring, physical first half. Still not a lot in it. 3.5 goals is not much, but when you've only kicked 2 in the first half, it does add up to something, doesn't it? Carey spoke with the umpires for quite some time in the break when they came back out. Mainwaring's kick towards centre-half forward. Early goal for the Eagles could be a crushing blow at the beginning of this second half. Allison comes away from centre-half back. Both teams with 1 injured player. Lewis for West Coast. Rock, we believe, a medial ligament with the knee for North Melbourne. Now going back from Carey to Allison. Allison centering kick, not too good. Worsfold went to ground. Nichols over the top, hands on him, no free kick. Worsfold on hands and knees. They had to concede a bit, West Coast, but getting it back to ever reliable McKenna, to Turley having a run now. Swings it out wide to Hart, who started the game in spectacular running fashion from half-back. Goes to centre wing. Good grab from the man playing his 150th Wilson in front of Scholl.
Those gloves certainly do help the players with taking those marks in front of their face. That was a terrific grab by Wilson. He kicks it high, and not really what the key forwards are looking for, but it's taken by Turnbull. His kick goes towards centre-half forward, but it's marked by Fairley. Ian Fairley looking to transfer play now to this near side wing. The kick goes in short, and Longmire's read it pretty well. He gets it across to Schwass. He's forced to get back onto his right foot, but able to kick with the left. A little bit of space there. Out to right half forward. It's kicked out in front of himself there by David Hart. Safety of the boundary line, Wayne Carey there.
North Melbourne's changed the structure of its forward line. It's got Crocker now at full forward, and it's got Longmire playing a little bit up the ground from him. Then they've got Wayne Carey, and then they've got McKernan at centre-half forward. So they've got 4 big guys now inside the 50-metre line.
Ball forced forward by Mainwaring. Taken there by Stevens to Schwass. Schwass's high kick towards full forward. Gee, a top effort now by McKenna. That black eye, and he gets that left foot to it and brilliantly sticks it on the chest of Matera. Matera in turn, very, very quickly gets it to young Ball. Ball's hand pass to Mainwaring. Mainwaring runs away from McKernan, then kicks into the pocket. There's no one home, and getting back to defend is Fairley. Takes it over for a boundary throw-in.
So we've got to give full marks to Dennis Pagan for trying to, we see John Barnett there warming up, played a night game for Hawthorn when he was 16 years of age, so let's see if he can make his mark at North Melbourne.
Matera to Mainwaring, the 2 wingmen combining, both playing good games. Centering to Turley. Turley wide, looking for Wilson, gives him a chance. Archer, good balance. Wilson tries to fend off him, goes to ground. Banfield breaks the tackle. At 45, can kick a goal. Doesn't quite time it. Sumic sets himself. Well played, Martin. Test of strength. Behind conceded. North will be happy with all of that. Banfield just not straightening up, was he? At 40 metres, doesn't kick a lot of goals. And lacked real rhythm and going for goal there at 5-9-2-4. And Robbo, you made the point a minute ago, in a low-scoring game, you've always got a chance, even when you're 3 goals behind, because a goal or two means so much.
Well, they've just got to get through that that defence of the West Coast, which has been quite magnificent. Here's Turley getting into the game now. A wobbly punt kick towards full forward. It clears the players in that position. Gathered by Heady, ever dangerous. Brett Heady, Kemp is marked in the square. Stevens just disadvantaged there by that kick. Nothing much he can do. Kemp will go for his 3rd goal.
Stevens had 16 possessions in the first half. He won a lot of the ball and worked hard, but Kemp kicked those 2 late goals in the second term, which took the shine off him, and now he's kicked his 3rd.
Dean Kemp, 3 goals and 3 telling goals for the West Coast. The Eagles get the 1st goal of the second half.
Well, he certainly has tried to change his forward line structure around Dennis Pagan, with Crocker down at full forward. We see here going up by Sumic flying for the mark, unable to take it, and once more those gloves there just scooped up the ball. And this is a nice little mark here by Kemp, and then he ran around and just popped it through.
Well, that really was the goal that you would have thought North Melbourne may have kicked at the start of the 3rd quarter. But instead, the Eagles have opened up the gap even further. Peter Wilson and Wayne Schwass struggling for possession. So the umpire asked to repeat the dose and bounce quite near the centre circle.
She and Alan Kennedy, the men in charge here. The men in white. Turley going in hard with Barnett. Now King. Matera, good tackle. Hot ball for Scholl. Got rid of one. Couldn't quite get rid of the other. Pipe on the out. Brilliant. To Matera. To Banfield. This game could open up all of a sudden to full forward. Getting back, sweeping back Smith. Takes the mark. Goes wide. Allison the target. They've got to be with pinpoint accuracy, North Melbourne. Allison then swings it up to Longmire, stretches him right out, goes for the half volley. Still with Longmire, needs a quick handball, gives it up far too easily to Mainwaring. Centering kick to Pike. This midfield for West Coast supreme. Pike at about 80 metres. Good depth with the kick. Lovely looking kick, Martin, well played. He's been good, Martin, called to play on. Well, he must have thought the umpire anticipated he was away. Evans hasn't ripped away from Schwass. I guess Schwass and Carey have just got to get more of the footy for North Melbourne to have some sort of a hope.
Just
look
in
at their
general,
bench.
I think, Bruce, they've all got to get a bit more of it.
Warren Campbell there sitting on the bench for North Melbourne.
I guess I've picked those 2 out because they can be so explosive, can't they? 2 of their on-field leaders. Kemp got it from Matera. Back to Turley, who's been prominent, hasn't he, since coming on. Banfield actually got in his way. Ball goes for goal. Hooks it as a behind. It's 6-10-2-4.
Well, it still seems that the Eagles have got this dominance midfield. You can always have a new forward line structure, but if you can't get the ball down there, then obviously it's not going to be successful. So they've still got to win the ball midfield, and this is where the Eagles have held sway ever since we started this game tonight.
Smith's kick is in the direction of Ischenko, but sets it up for Turnbull to punch it away. At the bottom there is Schwass. Schwass from deep in defence, kicks it out near the wing. Jakovic has just been quite magnificent, but Carey's recovery good. Forced the ball forward for North Melbourne. Nichols and Hart. Nichols can't control it. It's helped over by Worsfold. John Barnett and David Hart there in the picture. And Nichols just having a friendly word. Well, maybe it's an unfriendly word to the West Coast captain, Johnny Worsfold. Boundary throw in, right half forward for North Melbourne. They badly need to kick a goal. Forced forward by Stevens. Missed by Carey, collected by Hart. Handball to Kemp. Look at the way they handle the football. Kemp's kick towards half forward. McIntosh was 3rd in line, couldn't control it. Shoulders there for North Melbourne. Kick across his left shoulder. Nearly taken there by Ball. Now Matera receives from Pike. Matera's high kick. Goes up towards centre half forward. No market push in the back. Maybe North Melbourne's free kick. It will go to maybe Peter Mann, I would think. And the centre half back for North Melbourne, will take the football between right half back and centre wing. Man, you see there, interfered with by the West Coast forwards. The kick goes out towards the wing. Good mark taken by McKernan. But fairly stagnant football by North Melbourne. Mark and kick, whereas the West Coast prepared to just play on at nearly every occasion. This time McKernan gets it to Schwass. Schwass's kick inside 50 metres. At the back there, it was Longmire. Couldn't take the mark. In quickly was Brennan. And the ball held up at right half forward for North Melbourne. It's perhaps within scoring distance for North Melbourne, and they badly need to get a goal out of this foray forward.
Haven't got one since the first quarter, Robbo. Now Kemp goes to ground, free kick. Well, his 3 goals have been almost match-winning, haven't they?
Yes, they've been just fantastic for the West Coast Eagles, and he's a great player, Kemp. He missed several weeks with a knee problem, but just finding his good touch now.
Well, he was their best player in their premiership year. It's always a good sign. Banfield at half-back. Just holding it up for the moment. Not a good kick. Turley in the front spot. Scholl against him. Still with Scholl. Ball now free. McIntosh was in there. Archer fighting for it, and also Kemp out of play. Nothing happening at all for North Melbourne.
It's quite remarkable that last year that the potent forward line of North Melbourne with Longmire, Carey and McAdam kicking nearly 200 goals between the 3 of them, but tonight only 2 goals in nearly 2.5 quarters of football.
Barnett gets it to Scholl. Scholl towards Jakovic and Carey. Jakovic, McKernan puts the tackle on, but he's strong enough to get an effective handball to Matera, who goes to ground. Back to Jakovic. McKernan's got him. No, he shrugs him off. He is playing a game, Jakovic. He's like a colossus back there. Into the centre. Man goes with McIntosh. We know how fast McIntosh is off the mark. Man did pretty well. McIntosh had an airy. Nichols' handball missed late. He now puts the pressure on him. He did well there lately. Going to ground was hard. Chips it across to Stevens. North have got to do something positive here. Stevens bangs away. Getting underneath it is Longmire. Good one-hander. Terrific mark by the big horse. Well, he kicked a beautiful goal, didn't he, in the first quarter, and he needs to repeat it now. North have to get a goal out of this attack. Trail by 5.
Just too tall for Brennan that time.
John Longmire, only a couple of kicks. He's kicked 1-1 to date. Leans back with a drop punt, pushes it across and misses. They can't afford that, North. They just haven't had enough shots at goal to afford the luxury of missing from 40 metres.
No, they missed one in the first quarter when Nichols came round on his left boot, and then Allison missed one in the second quarter when his kick was a low trajectory kick. So they missed a couple tonight, and also that one of Longmire. So they need to kick goals to keep themselves in touch.
Well, it's Guy McKenna with the football, and very much in 2 or 3 minds. There's a couple of players near the centre of the ground. One of them is Main Waring. He leaves it, and Hart takes it on his chest. Free kick against Main Waring, maybe. And it will go to North Melbourne to be taken by Ischenko. Big Alex goes with the lumbering drop punt kick to full forward. Excellent mark taken by Carey. Play on? No, Nichols was about to swoop in, but the football will come back to the North Melbourne skipper Wayne Carey, who will kick for goal from about 30 metres out directly in front.
Well, he was in front there, and the ball will drop short this particular end, and just being in front that time enabled him to take that mark. So this is an important kick now for North Melbourne, because we're now approaching the 12-minute mark of this 3rd term, and they trail by 29 points, so they badly need this goal.
Carey for his first goal. The goal umpire's gone across, but it is a goal. Carey gets his first, North Melbourne get their 3rd. They still trail 6-10 to 3-5.
Well, look, he's a marvellous player, Wayne Carey, and even though he's been well beaten tonight with Ischenko with this big kick into the forward line, just starting to hold up in the breeze here, and Carey in that front position, and he finished that off with a good goal. But he's capable of kicking 3 or 4 goals quickly in a quarter.
They need it, that's for sure. Schwass out of the centre, quick kick. 6-10, 3-5. Carey at centre half forward, Ischenko. Jakovic and Carey test of strength. Jakovic off the ground. Well played, Matera. Did it brilliantly. Gives Kemp a chance. He's had 19 possessions, Kemp. Gets a free kick.
3 goals with it too.
Yeah,
magnificent.
He has. Matera goes with a long one. McIntosh should take it. Well done by Man. He just put his fist out and out of play. You just feel that this is the critical time in the game. North have been able to salvage a goal, sort of get a goal from almost nowhere, and suddenly they're only 3.5 goals behind. They need the next one.
Well, the defence has restricted the West Coast to just 6 goals 10, so that's important. Kick by Wilson, kick by Heady's a goal. Well, ever the opportunist is Brett Heady. He hasn't had all that many possessions, but he was quick to swoop on that. That's just his 3rd kick, and he's kicked the Eagles' 7th goal, and a quick reply for the West Coast.
Ross Smith has done a pretty good close checking job there. And we see here where Sumich appeals for the free kick, but kicked off the ground by Heady. But King has just been taken from the field for North Melbourne. Matera's been causing them all sorts of trouble with 20 possessions. Started with Scholl on him, they put King on him. Now they've got Blakey on him to try and stop his brilliance.
A terrific lead by Turnbull, and the West Coast will go forward by that player. It's a thumping kick. Just offline. Well, he affected the ruck contest and then went after it, gathered the ball like a rover and kicked it behind.
And Barnett has just come off the ground and King back onto the ground. So really ringing the changes on the North Melbourne bench.
Allison wide. I think Harding was pretty disappointed he didn't play tonight because Turnbull was on an injury cloud all week. But Turnbull playing so well, he's going to be hard to put out of this team, isn't he? He's had a terrific year. So, Ball, who has beaten McKernan tonight. Banfield. Heady in the front spot with Smith at the back, Laidley to put on a Shepherd. Now Smith still under pressure. Turnbull sets himself with a Schenko. They've done the percentage thing all night, haven't they? The discipline thing all night as Evans goes to centre half forward. Going to ground with a handball, Turley. Laidley caught. Good tackle by Sumich. Archer gets away, run down. No free kick down the ground. Chance here for Allison. Away to Schwass. Now Schwass could go all the way here. Could kick a goal. 2 bounces. He could keep going. 3. He can go now from 45 metres. Good looking kick. Oh no, just across. Gee, North needed it. 3-6 to 7-11.
Well, another golden opportunity missed there by North Melbourne. And they're really in trouble now because the Eagles still playing well. And if you keep missing goals, you don't put any pressure on them.
Mistake by Hart. Blakey at 50. He's got Nichols very short. Decides not to go there. Fancies his chances here, John Blakey.
You have to wait till McKernan gets back. He's run back to the square. He'd be half a chance, Corey McKernan.
Blakey goes with a long one. Right there. McKernan did get his big hand there, but Jakovic from the side, conceding a behind to the cheers of the crowd. 3-7 to 7-11.
18 scoring shots to 10. But as I said, North Melbourne's defence restricting this champion team to just 7-11. And we're not quite up to 3/4 time, so the defence is standing up. It's just the forwards need to get a little bit more of the football. Worsfold to McKenna, a sweeping hand pass right into the path of Matera. It didn't have to change stride, Peter Matera, and then thumps a drop punt kick to the 50-metre line. The ball spills now. Heady, hand pass, Turley, able to squeeze a kick. Inside 50, knocked forward by Evans. Ball still there to be won, but it's forced over by Archer from Wilson for a throw-in between the half-forward flank and forward pocket for West Coast, about 35 to 40 metres around from their goal. Peter Wilson and Glenn Archer in the picture. Ischenko and Turnbull. Turnbull gets his left hand to it, ineffective. Crocker sweeping hand pass. Out for Blakey, can't do much with it. Pressure applied by Matera. So with 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, a boundary throw in left half forward for the West Coast.
And 10 tackles this quarter to North Melbourne's 1. So just an indication of the way they're approaching this game, the West Coast Eagles.
Ischenko second go, gets it up towards McKernan, ball at the back. Banfield, good handball to Jakovic. Slews it a bit, very close to the line, but in. And Kemp and Evans and Laidley all going for it now to play.
It's a pretty fair side tonight when you consider 16 players in the Eagles side from their 92 premiership side. Only Harding, Lamb, Langdon and Waterman not playing tonight. They're still at the club. And the new players in tonight, Bond, Banfield, Ball and Turnbull, all doing well.
McIntosh belts it away. Crocker to Martin. Quick hands, but Stevens cutting it off. May have been better for Schwass. Well done, Stevens, in the end. Carey in front of Jakovic, gives the handball to Allison. Allison can run right up to 50. Normally a terrific kick, keeps it low. Again, not that good. Brennan getting back with Longmire and a behind. I don't know how many times you've seen Allison on the run kick goals at the MCG this year. Thread the needle, but not tonight. 2 or 3 goes. And just going back to your point a moment ago, probably only Waterman and maybe Harding you could see improving this team. Lamb's had his day, you'd expect, and Langdon in all sorts of trouble, been suspended for headbutting last week in the local competition. McKenna's been
again, McKenna, Bruce, you've just mentioned out of while you were watching there, just an efficient hand pass, and already the ball now only 25 metres from the West Coast goal, but it's kicked out towards Blakey. Blakey gathers and then thumps it high, sets it up for the defence to punch it away again, and that's exactly what Jakovic continues to do. Allison's little kick goes to half forward. It's gathered by Bull. The ball handling by that man, he's about 6'5", is quite spectacular. 3 on 1. Have a look at this. Mainwaring to bomb up. 6.5 minutes left. Mainwaring goes to the goal square. No mark. Heady's a chance. Gathers. Hand pass ineffective. Ball spills for Wilson. Little kick to a vacant area. Turley should kick the goal and does. Very, very efficient, workmanlike football by the Eagles. No nonsense. 8-11 to 3-8.
A good little kick off the ground here by Peter Wilson. I think he might have meant it, going out towards Craig Turley, who's done very well since he's come off the interchange bench. He's picked up 7 possessions, I should say. There's Heady and there's Wilson, just kicking that off the ground. I think there might have been a little bit of Maradona in that.
.point margin, 8-11 to 3-8. Stevens to Schwass. Blazes away. Hart well out in front of Allison. Sweeps the handball to Mainwaring. The 2 wingmen have been outstanding for West Coast, Mainwaring and Matera. McIntosh at the back. Still with McIntosh. Well done to Banfield. Goes for goal. Getting back, man. Good mark. A terrific mark. One-hander. He's been good, man. He was shell-shocked a bit early, but he stood up very well.
I agree entirely. McIntosh looked very, very promising and quite damaging.
Man comes out wide. He's looking for Archer, who can take a high mark. Oh, good grab in the front by Blakey. Matera staying down that time with Wilson coming over the back. And Blakey at half-back. Well, North have got to get at least 2, you'd think, to have any hope before 3/4 time. Carey in a wrestle. It hasn't been the champions' night so far. Ball has been outstanding, as Robbo's told us a few times. What a good player he is. So is Pike and so is Jakovic. They've got a lot of them, haven't they, West Coast? At 50, punched away, no free kick. Archer sits and waits, all goes to the boundary line. Had a couple of players inside. Wasn't able to go to them. Just a little bit of panic there from Archer. Conceding. Safety of the line.
With North Melbourne struggling up forward, maybe Arch up forward. He bidded 5 goals against this side last year. It might be worth a try.
Stevens tried a quick kick away. Banfield intercepted. Crockett didn't go very far. McIntosh back to Schwass. Quick kick and still in. Well, I was going to say still in play. What I meant was not out on the full. So Schwass not penalised, or North Melbourne, and they gained about 40 metres from that little attempt to bring the ball forward.
If we think this is the West Coast Eagles' best side, this must nearly be North Melbourne's best side. Apart from maybe McAdam, and of course Mark Roberts is out injured. They miss him because he's 6'2" and he's mobile, but he can't be back this year because of a knee problem. So maybe only McAdam to come into what could be their best side here tonight.
Mark Roberts, of course, was one of those 4 players that contributed all those goals that you spoke about earlier on in this quarter that they kicked last year.
Very potent forward line last year. It was amazing,
yes.
Wasn't it, really?
Something like about 45 or 50 goals average by the 4 players. Crocker, dispossessed, ball spills for Pike. Into the path of Matera, handles it, and a sweeping hand pass. Out for Hardy, and then a kick a goal, David Hart. Hooks the kick badly in the finish, missed by quite a distance. So a bit disappointed in his performance. He's a good finisher under normal circumstances. At that point, adds to the West Coast score. They're 8-12 to 3-8. Smith kicks in, short. Mark is taken by King.
Still not quite buried, North. Probably should have been by now, but a glimmer. Stevens and Evans. Evans has had groin problems most of the year. He's only played 8 games. This is his first game back since they were beaten in Adelaide. Turnbull, Ashenko used a bit of brawn, but Turnbull stood his ground. Schwash going after it strongly. Heady went to ground. Schwash on top of it. Heady goes in. Schwash a bit unlucky there with the knees. And no free kick. But he'll pick himself up with some help from a teammate. Quiet first half to Wayne Schwash. Quite a few possessions in this second half.
He's lifted his game, and that's a credit to him.
Mainwaring off the side. Turley underneath it. King goes high. Out of play. 8-12, 3-8. This North Melbourne team who've kicked 21 against St Kilda, 25 against Hawthorn, 21 against Adelaide, 19 against Sydney. Not many tonight.
Well, both defences have done a pretty good job. That's knocked forward by Wilson. Smith under a bit of pressure. Kicks out towards the wing. Blakey also under enormous pressure. Kick across his body.
Worsfold, Carey, Jakovic. Worsfold again. Ball provides the shepherd for his captain. Worsfold runs the full measure. Ashenko collects him quite harmlessly, really. Heady goes to ground. Turley's been good in this quarter. Spins and weaves. Centering kick is a goal. Wonderful! Would have meant it for sure. Turley's kick 2. Thought he was doing the disciplined thing and kicking it to the front of the square.
Looks a popular figure too. I mean, that was a brilliant goal, but there were 2 or 3 of them ran in to congratulate him.
He's been good in this quarter, Turley, hasn't he?
And marvellous play by Worsfold out of defence. And Turley here, well, we've got to remember that he was runner-up in the Brownlow medal. And you've got to be pretty good. Back in 91, he also won the club's best and fairest.
9-12 plays, 3-8. So North Melbourne in all sorts of trouble now. Not able to kick goals. Ball forced forward by Archer, dragged down by Wilson. Importantly too, because the ball spilt now at half-back. Chance for McKenna to mop up. Quite prepared to give away ground as McKenna. Short kick, and the mark is taken by Banfield. 2.5 minutes left in the third term, and the West Coast have kicked 4 goals in this quarter, and North Melbourne managing just 1. Kicked by Banfield, punched away strongly by Martin. Nearly gathered by Pike. Disappointed with himself, ball skills for throwing.
It's been fantastic tonight, Mick Martin. They've actually moved him now onto McIntosh, and they've put man down on the Sumich because obviously McIntosh at this stage a bigger threat to North Melbourne than Sumich.
Well, you would think under normal circumstances, if you could restrict an AFL side of today's ability to just 9 goals and we're nearly up to 3/4 time, that you'd be in the game. But their forwards haven't been able to get anywhere near through the West Coast defence. Another chance here. Mainwaring's little left foot kick is good for Banfield. Back to Mainwaring. Good running by the winger. His kick is very ordinary by Mainwaring standards. It covers the distance. It's out on the full. So the free kick will be taken at right half back by King. King's kick. Close to the wing. Ball covers the players there. Pike. Little kick, beautifully weighted for Mainwaring. Evans doing some good running. Mainwaring kicks rather blindly, but the ball spills for Sumich off the right foot. No mark taken by Heady. Back there is Allison. Tackled by Hart. Goes over with the football. Tries to con the boundary umpire into the fact that maybe the ball was still inside the field of play. But with 1 minute left, we'll have a throw-in the right forward pocket for the West Coast.
And I think the reason they've only got 3 goals is that they've got the stingiest defence in the competition. The Eagles, 100 points less than anyone else in the competition kicked against the West Coast Eagles. So they've got a fantastic defence, and they just shut down sides, they shut down players, they've got wonderful ability to man up. And when you look at this combination here tonight, they just match up so well against the opposition sides.
And the players in the middle of the ground, Kevin, are just so disciplined and putting pressure on the opposition, who have to kick it under all sorts of pressure down to the forwards.
And they rebound it so quickly. That rebound football, it's like throwing a rubber ball against a brick wall. It just keeps coming back, whereas North Melbourne tonight, you know, have really struggled to get the ball moving. They've gone back, kicked over the man on the mark. They've kicked the ball high in the air all the time. I mean, fantastic to watch tonight, the Eagles, because I reckon this is the best I've seen them play for quite a while. Even though the scoreboard, they've missed a lot of easy goals, and the scoreboard shows only 9-12 to 3-8. But the way that they've moved the ball and some of the touch of their players tonight, I think, has been terrific.
Turnbull and Lashenko inside the last minute in this third quarter. Stevens from Crocker. And as it's been the case for a lot of the night, just not quite perfect, the handball or the foot pass, putting the pressure on his teammate, and an error forced out of play this time. Gee, I think Mickey smiled. 9-12 to 3-8.
Glad you said think.
Now Schwass. Handball, okay, to Blakey at centre wing. Wobbly old one, tough ball to catch that. Players go to ground. Fairley's handball misses again, Carey. An illustration of what's been happening all night. Matera, that's that rubber ball coming back. To Sumi, John Martin with courage. Didn't hold it though. Now runs away. Swings out the handball to Stevens. And North Melbourne's defence has been honourable. There's no question about that. And Stevens is kicked as the siren sounds. And just one goal again from North Melbourne in that term. 2 in the first, none in the second. And the Eagles have got a big grip of this one. They're 40 points in front of three-quarter time. 9-12 to 3-8.
Melbourne legend Robbie Flower joins Rex. I'm Rex Hunt and you're not. Sunday on 7.
The most productive quarter for the match so far for West Coast. 4 goals in that term. And at three-quarter time, they lead by 40 points. 9-12 to 3-8.
This match is part of the Fosters 1994 AFL Premiership season.
As Mick Malthouse with the West Coast Eagles, Peter Matera in the limelight there. And John Rogers, has been an outstanding display of defensive football.
Oh, it's been superb, Bruce. Stating the obvious to say that North Melbourne in deep trouble. They were held goalless by the Eagles' defence in the second quarter, and it was 11 minutes into the third quarter before they kicked their third goal, and they really haven't looked like kicking anything much other after that. Jakovic has been absolutely superb at centre half back. He is totally cut Carey out of the game. They're not getting enough out of Longmire, McKenna, Hart, Jason Ball. What a find this kid's been. He really has got a lot of poise for such an inexperienced player. And the Eagles, the pressure from down where I'm sitting, the pressure that they're exerting midfield on North Melbourne is just amazing. It's like a pressure cooker out there, Bruce. North Melbourne really don't know which way to turn to get a kick. They're playing stop-start sort of footy whilst the Eagles are all run. I mean, I don't think North Melbourne have got a prayer in this game at the moment, but if they're going to have one, they're going to get more out of Carey and Longmire. But as I said, the pressure that the Eagles are exerting would make me think that North Melbourne just can't get back into this game, particularly how well the Eagles' defence is playing when North Melbourne do struggle to get the ball down there. And on the credit side, I guess, for North Melbourne, Bruce, you'd have to say that their defence has also stood up well under enormous pressure. But for me at this stage, it's all the Eagles.
Yeah, some good points there, John. As Robbo said, if you're only 9 goals at three-quarter time, you think you're in the game. World Swimming Championships on 7 Sport. We're really looking forward to this from Rome. That's September 3rd to the 12th. Just check your local guides and don't forget the big race, the great race, the Tooheys 1000 on October the 2nd. What a weekend that is, with the grand final as well from Bathurst. Again, check your local guides for telecast details. Get a feeling they might go for the kill here, Kevin. West Coast.
Well, they're just playing so well at the moment, and one just feels that North Melbourne just can't match them. And this is quite an awesome display tonight, with the Eagles favourites to win the premiership, and North Melbourne look to be one of the top opponents. And if North Melbourne lose tonight, which it looks like, then of course their own position in this final 8 setup is going to come into question.
9-12, 3-8. Friday night football from the cricket ground in Perth, packed house, and they're loving the first 3 quarters because their beloved Eagles are 40 points in front. Free kick going to Crocker. Remembering they won that big final last year at Waverley Park and then had a big win over North Melbourne at the MCG. So this will be their 3rd consecutive win unless a miracle occurs in this last quarter. Carey in the front spot. Nichols roved him pretty well. Longmire getting back, goal for Allison. That's the start they needed. The swooper. Allison coming in to kick a goal, and North Melbourne get their 4th.
Yes, well, Brett Allison has been off the field tonight, and he struggled a little bit on the forward line. He's been a little bit in defence, now up forward once more. Nichols there roved that really well with a quick snap and punched away there, and then Allison just following up kicking an easy goal. So that is the perfect start for North Melbourne.
So let's see if they can build on that with about 20 minutes to go, plus time on. They'll force it wide of the centre congested area. That kick coming from Schwass, but it will be gathered by Kemp. Kemp kicks it along the boundary line towards half forward, and punched away from Scholl by Turley, over for a throw-in. Right half forward for the West Coast, Dean Kemp in picture. What a magnificent game he's played, along with plenty of his teammates. Lots of good contributions from plenty of the West Coast. Pike's kick smothered by Schwass, but he had another go at it, Don Pike. Close to the boundary line, Stevens taken over. And Evans was pretty good in that physical contest. Stevens getting up a little gingerly. And the umpire to throw it back into play. Landed fairly awkwardly there, Anthony Stevens. Don Pike tackled a little too high. So he's going to... No, it's not Pike, actually. Maybe a free kick picked from the ruck contest. It's going to Turnbull. Coming off the ground, Worsfold being replaced by Bond as Turnbull from 60 metres kicks the big spiral punt kick to the goal square. Sumic's mark. Clean mark. He's a popular figure. Peter Sumic kicked the first goal for the West Coast early in the first quarter, and he's got a chance to double that tally by kicking his second early in the last term.
Well, overhead marking's not really a strength of Peter Sumic, and he has been out of form lately. He's kicked the 37 goals for the year and kicked the opening goal for the game, so 38 for the year to Peter Sumic, but he's had a lot of hamstring problems.
Makes no mistake, it's his second. So the quick goal for North Melbourne, quite straightforwardly replied by the West Coast. Peter Sumic has now kicked two.
And Peter Mann is back playing on him as we see Turnbull kicking this ball. And it does hold up in the breeze. We saw Carey take a similar mark in the third term and kick a goal, and that's exactly the same thing. Ball just holding up, and the man in front there taking an easy mark.
Back to 40 points, 10, 12, 4, 8. Sumic only one mark tonight, but it was a beauty. Couple of goals. McKernan to go. Goes pretty well. Force forward in the direction of Fairley. Good take. Crocker, though, under pressure from Banfield. Goes inside to Nichols. Nichols has kicked pretty good, just not quite a behind. Had a good first quarter and a half, didn't he, Nichols?
Yes, he chased hard and he tackled hard, and he kicked the ball extremely well. Hasn't had a lot of it in the second half, but he's really struggling to find a little bit of form after coming back from being suspended. I think Trent Nichols was suspended.
For a trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, for tripping.
Injured early in the year.
Injured early, and then I think with the report as well.
Carey, good grab. At centre wing, but just not enough from Carey. Centering, Longmire again. Unable to. Nichols in question. Pretty good snapshot normally. Goes for good shot. Goal. Typical Rovers goal. And we'll be talking to Barry Cable later tonight. He's not far away from us. He would have liked that, and so would another Rover, Kevin Bartlett. You didn't mind a goal or two, KB?
No, Rovers are supposed to kick goals, so it's good to see. We see Carey kicking that ball down. And Trent's got terrific pace, and he was runner-up in the Richmond's Best and Fairest in 1990. He's always had a tremendous amount of ability and can really kick the ball. And tonight he has worked pretty hard. The second half, not quite as good as that first half, but then he's had a lot of teammates who have been down tonight. It's been pretty tough, but he's been one of their better players.
Well, 14 possessions and 2 goals to Trent Nichols. North Melbourne go forward again. A chain of hand passes, finishes with Crocker. Crocker's kicked to full forward. Ball spills to the back of the pack. Brennan giving the hand pass away to Jakovic. Hand pass straight to North Melbourne. Nichols may make amends here, Brennan. No, it's Wilson chipping in. And he runs away from the back pocket. Short kick out towards the wing. Looking out there for Bond, but beaten for it on this occasion. Not paid. Bond goes after it again. It was Archer. Blakey's kick across his body, taken by Hart. Gives it away to Matera. Now Matera, assessing the situation, goes in short, gives it to Ball. Ball's hand pass to Pike. Something mounting here for the West Coast. Wide to Mainwaring. And Mainwaring is marked just behind the wing on this near side of the ground. Chris Mainwaring, he's had a fair amount of the football, 20 possessions. And a thumping kick to the 50-metre line. Just lands in no man's land, really. Sumic attempting to gather the football, but it's Crocker for North Melbourne. Left foot kick by that player, out towards the wing. Jakovic and Carey, a show of strength. It's taken by Stevens, a spiral punt kick, no one home. Must have lost that ball in the lights there, Michael Brennan. Tackled fiercely was Longmire. Ball spills from the Campbell tackle. Nichols down McKernan. Kicks up towards the goal front. Hart. He'll be quite happy to rush this ball close to the line. In front of Brett Allison, it goes over. And a throw-in will take place. 15 and a half minutes left in the game. David Hart, with 18 possessions, has been workmanlike in defence for the West Coast. McKernan, taken by Jakovic. A brilliant game by Glenn Jakovic. A hook kick covers 40 metres, but an excellent mark taken by Crocker, and that's 50 metres against Don Pike. The mark had been paid, and he knocked the ball out of his hands.
Just quickly, John, what's the situation with Worsfold?
Bruce is just cramping up, no problems. We thought it might have been a groin, but it's not. They're rubbing his calves. He's cramping up, obviously, from a lack of match practice, so they've taken him off for that reason.
Crocker, his first goal for the evening. Could be North Melbourne's 6th. And the margin would be 27 points. If Crocker can kick this, North Melbourne's still a chance, and he does. Darren Crocker's first goal. North Melbourne get their 6th. 72 plays 45 with 15 minutes left.
Went to full forward in that third term, but was not productive enough down there. The forward line once more didn't function. As we see coming off now is Shane Bond, who only came on about 2 or 3 minutes ago, and we see coming back onto the ground is Mitchell White. Mitchell White was fantastic in their premiership win. Played a great game in their grand final in 1992, and he's had a lot of injuries this year.
10-12, 6-9. North within 4.5 goals. Pike free kick. Are they coming home, North Melbourne? They've kicked 3 in this final term. They took 3 quarters to kick 3 before that. McIntosh, good mark at full stretch. Fabulous player. Debuted in the same year that Jakovic did. Goes to centre-half forward, front spot Fairley. Should have got a free kick, he does. Been pretty good Fairley, along with a number of North Melbourne defenders. They've really kept their team in the game. Well, he went to play on and then had to concede. This is danger. McIntosh too good, takes the mark. Now, he went to play on. Should have been called play on. Wasn't, but got it to Sumic anyway.
How could Evans apply the tackle when the player had run over the mark back there, though? That's unbelievable.
Well, it made all the difference too, didn't it?
Well, it just forced North Melbourne to be put under pressure. Evans was running to pick a player up, so he wasn't a hand-pass target.
And then Fairley forced to kick under great pressure, and McIntosh taking the mark.
Do you want to back Subic to miss? I reckon he's a good kick for goal, KB.
No, I don't think kicking is his strongest strength. He can get distance, but we all know about his hook. But he's had 2 shots tonight for 2 goals.
This from 50. Pretty good. Right there, touched. Well, it was straight enough. There's no question about that. They've had quite a few rush behinds. And you think if he kicked that, it was the ball game, wouldn't you? There's still just a really rough chance for North Melbourne. They need to kick a couple of goals in the next 4 or 5 minutes. They do keep on coming. This has been one of their trademarks under Dennis Pagan in the last couple of years. They keep coming home hard. Centre wing.
They haven't had any player really playing well enough, particularly in midfield up on their forward line, to give you enough heart to think that they can kick 2 or 3 quick goals. They've had some great players in defence. Mickey Martin's been tremendous, but on the forward line they haven't had a winner.
McKernan's quick kick. Carey and Jakovic. Jakovic to the boundary line. And does he run it out? I think he did. He's pretty happy about that, to be honest.
He was. I'm with you there. I think
he was very happy.
Quite satisfied.
He made a certainty of it, didn't he, the second time when he ran over.
My word.
Well, Robbo, can you get a quick goal here for North Melbourne to bring them a bit closer?
North Melbourne aren't out of it. They trail by just less than 5 goals. They need to get a quick succession of goals. This is Main Waring for the West Coast. Kicks it in the McIntosh direction. Archer gets back and defends desperately, rushing the ball over for a throw-in. Right half forward for the West Coast. Archer and Wilson in picture, 13 minutes left. Just been able to manage 6 goals so far in the game, North Melbourne, so I guess the question is asked, can they kick another 5 goals in the remaining 13 minutes? Jakovic disciplined. Carey took the rebound. Little kick by that player. Allison maybe just took his eyes off the ball momentarily. Hart pushed over, and he's going to get the free kick for in the back against Brett Allison. David Hart. Have him in the trenches, I think. Very good defender for the Eagles. May have to bomb it away, and he does just that, down towards the wing. Marking contest, nearly taken by McKernan. Crumbing was Kemp, or attempted, then it's off the ground by Stevens. Maybe he was over before the kick was affected. That's the way the boundary umpire sees it, so we'll have a throw in on centre wing. Ball and McKernan have been at each other, and McKernan on this occasion, well, I thought he did the pushing, but according to the umpire, it was grabbing by Ball. Gets it to Schwass. The kick by Schwass to centre-half forward. Rebound Allison. Perhaps could have gathered it, but Main wearing it is, gives it to Pike. Really went to transfer play, then thumped it out towards the wing. And a good mark taken by Stevens behind Kemp. Handball to Schwass, he's in trouble, but able to get round onto the right foot, and then a wobbly old puck kick towards centre-half forward. Nearly taken by Mann, but McKenna mopping up Brennan. Little kick by that player has been marked by Hart. Sweeps it to Matera. Watch this guy. Nearly go the length of the ground. Matera goes for the thumping kick. Bounces in a vacant area at right half forward. Back goes Ross Smith for North Melbourne. Close to the line. Nice little kick too. Martin leaves it behind. Heady there. But it's Martin for North Melbourne. Kicks it out towards the wing. Too far. And it's out on the full. So the free kick will be taken down here in front of us by young Bond.
Been on and off the ground tonight, Bond. Trying to establish his place in a team that's going to play a major part of the finals. Free kick to Archer. Would have been disappointed if I was a West Coast forward a moment ago with Matera's effort. Running forward and then just banging away. Now lately at centre half back. Carey the target. Ball. Good play. Comes across in front. Who is giving the votes tonight? It's going to be pretty hard. They've had a lot of good ones, West Coast, haven't they? Jakovic just lopes away with a third bounce. Stretches McKernan right out, goes wide, gets to Matera. They've won the wings, and they've won in a lot of places, West Coast. Running for him is Mitchell White, who was on the interchange for the heart of the middle part of this game. Centering kick, getting back, good mark by Archer. This defence has kept North Melbourne in with just a glimmer. Now Schwash, important, he gets a quick kick away, he does. Now can it stay in play? Running hard, Campbell, he's got it. A bounce, running onto it with a couple. Carey asking him to kick it long, not providing any sort of a lead. He goes towards Mann in the pocket. Does well, Mann. Good mark against Brennan. But he had Nichols on at full forward. He's really got to go back and kick the goal, you'd think, from there. Not the tightest of angles in that pocket. Can improve his angle. And a goal here just keeps North Melbourne close enough, doesn't it?
Well, we're approaching the 15-minute mark.
Still
so
10 minutes to go.
10 minutes to go, but he needs to kick this for them to have any sort of chance.
So big play here for Mann. In the pocket, good kick. Looks all right, he's got it. Well, they're not completely buried, that's for sure. They've kicked 4 goals, and they've kicked the last 3 goals in this match, and it's 7-9 to 10-13.
This is Campbell just keeping it in there, Warren Campbell, which was good play, running his full distance and able to get a good long kick in. And just had the drop on Brendan then, but he did finish it off, which was the main thing for North Melbourne.
And at the centre, ruck contest. Struggle here between Schwass and Kemp. Schwass didn't have the ball, so he will take the free kick for North Melbourne and put them to within scoring distance. No, hand pass to Crocker. Crocker's been good in this last quarter. The kick towards half forward. Covers the players back there. Brennan tackled well by Nichols. Ball spills free. Oh, lovely little tap into the path of White. White's kick goes out towards the wing, but a mark is taken there by Crocker. Now Crocker playing on. So the instructions obviously for North Melbourne to get the ball moving at all occasions. Taken by Jakovic. He kicks it wildly out towards the wing. There's no one home. The ball spills. Opportunity for Turley. Can't quite control the football. He's one out, but he does well. Hand pass, lovely little one for Main Waring. And Main Waring's kick, look for Evans, into the path of that player. The shepherd affected there by Pike. The kick by Evans, bounces in the right forward pocket, getting back Martin. Archer is there for North Melbourne. The kick by Archer, pretty good. He finds Stevens down near the wing. Stevens able to run on. A wobbly old kick in towards centre-half forward. Carey gathers it. A thumping kick by Carey across the 50-metre line, and the mark is taken there by Longmire. Longmire, 55 metres from goal. Kicks in towards half forward. Back goes Ball with the flight of the ball. Couldn't take the mark. Gatherers by Hart. Tries to get it to Jakovic. In turn, Wilson. Back to Jakovic. Jakovic from a standing start. Kicks out towards... Oh, magnificent leap and mark by Stevens. Plays on quickly. Gets it to Allison. North Melbourne charging home. Schloss from 55 metres. Kicks to the goal square. Marking contest. Oh, McKernan's taken it in the square.
Actually, in the last 6 or 7 minutes, they've really tried to move the ball, North Melbourne, for the very first time. They've started taking some risks. Every time they've taken a mark or someone's got a free kick, they're running around the back, handballing over the man on the mark, just to try and get the ball quickly into the forward line. We see McKernan taking that mark there.
And he straightforwardly gets the goal.
And he kicks it. So there's a lesson in that, isn't there, really? That the quicker you can move the ball into your forward line, the more pressure you put on the opposition defence, and generally if you can get it in quickly, then you give your forwards an absolute chance of having a little bit of space and having the drop on your opponent. So this has been a good little comeback here by North Melbourne this last quarter. It may be too late, but there's still plenty of time.
Points of difference only. There was 40 points of difference at three-quarter time. North Melbourne with 8 minutes remaining, or just over 7, with a chance to pull off a miraculous victory on this Friday night game at the Cricket Ground in Perth. It's 10-13 to 8-9. West Coast still very much the favourite, but a quick goal here and suddenly you could feel a shake. Good handball on the up. Free kick against Barnett. Gee, the umpire was well back. He must have been very confident that he threw it, and Kemp gets the free kick. Well, it looked about the same as Sumich's earlier on. Now Mainwaring wobbles it, going to ground. No free kick there to Blakey, looking for one. High tackle, surely a free kick to Blakey. First tackle looked high by Matera, didn't it?
I didn't think Blakey had control of the football, and he was grabbed.
6.5 minutes remaining. North 8-9, West Coast 10-13. Not a good bounce. Archer's had a terrific last quarter. Crocker's quick kick to centre wing. You just feel that a few of the West Coast players who have been so brilliant all night have just tired a bit. That one out of bounds on the full. Suddenly the momentum has turned in favour of North Melbourne. They figure they've got a chance. There's the bench with Heady and Evans, and also Lewis, who's injured. Back towards Jakovic and Carey. If only Carey could take a thumping mark and kick a big goal. Jakovic takes his time. Oh, he's calling the crisis. So it's Worsfold to Kemp, who swings it back to Mainwaring. Mainwaring over the top, playing keepers off for the moment. White got it to Kemp. Kemp with a torpedo punt, kicks it 60 metres up to half forward. Smith and Turley. Good mark by Smith. Then he swings it back. Taken by Scholl. Scholl at half-back, back to centre wing. McKernan sets himself. Got shoved a little forward. Little handball good. Gives it to Stevens. Stevens with distance to full forward. Man gives Brennan a shove. Brennan goes towards the boundary line. McKenna's there. He'll run it out for sure. Out of play. But North Melbourne, with 5.5 minutes remaining, are only 30 metres away from goal. They've kicked the last 4 goals in this game, and they've kicked 5 in this final term.
If they're to pull off this victory, they can thank their defence, because still they've restricted West Coast just to 10-13. Kick is by Barnett. Gee whiz, it's not a bad snapshot. To goal.
Now they're a chance, Robbo.
Well, this has been quite a remarkable last quarter, and full credit to North Melbourne, because 40 points down at three-quarter time. They've been really struggling right through the whole course of this game. Barnett, young kid having his second go at league football, played one Foster's Cup game for Hawthorn at 16, so obviously had a lot of ability then, because the Hawks were a pretty darn good side. So this has been quite a remarkable comeback, and surprisingly that the Eagles have stopped.
Well, I think it's been around that centre. I mean, McKernan has been terrific at the centre bounces, and he got the effective hand on the ball there. But couldn't quite take it away for North Melbourne, so the umpire will repeat the dose. Bounce once again. 10 points is the margin in favour of the West Coast. 5 minutes left. McKernan again, nearly by Campbell, now by Kemp, and an ordinary effort there by Worsfold over on the full. So North Melbourne to go into attack through Campbell. No one on the mark, so he gets some precious meterage out of that. Ball spills for Nichols off the ground. He scores. It's just a behind. Now just 9 points in the game.
Used to play soccer as a kid in Tasmania, Trent Nichols, so it was a bit of a chance to snap that one, but it was a good effort.
McKenna short, 10-13, 9-10. Just 9 points in this. Remembering they led by 40 points, West Coast, at three-quarter time. Hart runs away from centre-half back, was touched off the vertical, play on call. McIntosh, no mark. Here Schwartz should give a hand. Well, he's run a long way. Goes long, inside 50. Jakovic sets himself. Terrific mark. Wonderful mark by Jakovic. Brennan's hurt himself there. And unfortunately for North, that Carey still hasn't been able to take an inspiring grab to turn this game around. But North Melbourne has been able to get itself right back in. Look at that, 21 kicks to Jakovic at centre-half back. Goes with a drop punt, looking for McIntosh. Scholl, good grab by Banfield at the back. 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. North Melbourne are 9 points behind. Worsfold makes a run. Banfield holds it up. Turley provides a bit of a lead. Suddenly, West Coast with not too many options. That one wobbling. Archer's last quarter's been superb. To Blakey. Matera tries to run him down on not a good kick. Misses everything. Carey disappointed, but Carey's had one of those nights where he just hasn't been able to get into it. Taken by Hart. Jakovic has been supreme, hasn't he?
Well, something like 28 possessions now to Glenn Jakovic. David Hart's kick goes out towards the wing, but a good mark taken by Stevens. They've had a good battle, those two, Stevens and Kemp. Kemp's had a lot of the football, but so has Anthony Stevens. That kick marked by Nichols. North Melbourne making a surge. In goes Mate Waring. Gets an effective hand to the ball. Goes back with it and then kicks out towards the wing, but he's going to give it up. Schloss is lifted. Has taken the mark forward of the wing. So he'll put North Melbourne to within scoring distance. A thumping kick to centre-half forward. Covers the players back there. Hart pops up. Gets it to Worsfold. His kick out into the path of McKenna. Allows the ball to bounce favourably for him and then gets it to Matera. Matera from left half back. Kicks down the wing. Looking out there for Wilson, but it's nearly taken by Archer. He fell over at a critical stage. In goes Wilson and Bond. Forced clear over for a boundary throw-in with 2.5 minutes left. The West Coast lead by 9 points. A terrific performance by North Melbourne. Trailing by 40 points at three-quarter time. They've got back right into this game. Taken by Crocker, tackled by Bond. Ball goes over for a throw-in.
Well, they were in a similar position last weekend, weren't they, North Melbourne, against Geelong, where they were a couple of goals down late in the game and got within a point. Gee, a goal in the next minute would be just what they need. Hart at centre wing. Of course, the reverse would be the killer. Goes to full forward. Cut off, well played by Smith. They have been outstanding, this defence.
He's been terrific too, Ross Smith.
Hasn't he? Now, this is important for Schwash. Gets a good one. He's got to take on Banfield. He does it well. He's had a wonderful last quarter. Kick of beauty to Campbell. Still a chance here for North. They need Carey to take a grab here, or Longmire. Carey, the kick in his direction. Man at the back. Gives Brennan a little tiny shove. And the umpire's in a perfect position. And the crowd give him a terrific cheer because he gives Brennan the free kick at centre-half back. Swings it wide. Worsfold the target. He's got Kemp over the top. He'll probably go there now. He does. Terrible kick by Worsfold out of play.
But two he's done there. One on this side and one on the other side now.
The one on this side was even worse because it was out of bounds on the full.
Well, he went off because he had the cramp, we were told before, so he's come back on, so he still might have that problem.
Well, McKernan's been terrific in the last quarter in the ruck contest. This is Pike. Pike for the West Coast to kick it in towards centre-half forward, but brilliantly taken there by Scholl. State defender from 50 metres, kicks it out towards the wing. Mark taken by Stevens, gets it to Laidley. Laidley's kick, he squeezes it. gets reasonable distance, but it spills over for a boundary throw-in.
Had to come back inside, you reckon, don't you? The handball was the wrong way.
Well, they've been taking risks, so they've got to continue in that vein if they're to snatch a great victory here at the Wacker. Repeating that they trailed by 40 points at three-quarter time, and the margin just 9 points at the moment. Pike caught, got the hand pass away. Now Banfield, tackled by Schloss. Bond, Banfield, a sweeper into the centre, Mainwaring. Turnbull's kick slews off the side of his boot. At centre-half forward, McIntosh, taken by Martin. A desperate defender is Mickey Martin. He may get run down. No, he gets his foot to it. It goes towards half-forward and beats Jakovic on this occasion. It nearly beats back there Brennan, but he's able to get his kick away. Brilliant smother by Worsfold. Instinctive handball there to White. Ball goes wide for Mainwaring. He's able to get his right foot to it. Just trundles a kick towards half-forward, where Ball's kick has been smothered off the boot, and it will be thrown in on centre wing. So the West Coast will win the game, but in a match that looked as though they were going to win comfortably, they will struggle and win by a very, very narrow margin. McIntosh pulled off the football by McKernan. Ball comes now for Stevens. He's able to get his left foot to it, but only as far as Chris Mainwaring. It goes over for a boundary throw-in. And it's been a terrific contest by the Kangaroos. They were well out of it at three-quarter time, trailing by 40 points, and they've gone down by less than 2 goals. Stevens, no, taken by King. King's kick to the goal front. And a terrific mark. Now, if anyone doubted that guy was best man on the ground, that surely will prove it. The game is all over, and the footballers with Glenn Jakovic, he's taken the mark, and it's all over for North Melbourne. The West Coast have won by 9 points in a terrific match in the finish. The West Coast have kicked 10-13-73 to beat North Melbourne 9-10-64.
And John Rogers is down with Peter Wilson playing his 150th. John. 150,
Pete. Tough game.
Yeah, Johnny, we finished off pretty orderly, didn't we? So
what sort of went wrong? I mean, they kicked 3 goals for 3 quarters and then just came home with a wet sail.
Yeah, I guess we're not going to be too happy with it. Mickey won't be too happy either. So, it's just something we've got to work on. So,
Mate, it doesn't matter. It's 150 games and you won. Give us a smile.
I want to be a perfectionist, Johnny. Can you believe that?
Of course I can. Yeah, no, well done. Congratulations on 150 games. It's fantastic stuff, and keep up the good work, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks so
much. Thanks so much. Good.
Good on you, John. John Rogers there with Peter Wilson. Well, Wayne Carey will be disappointed, mainly because his team lost, and secondly because he didn't make a big contribution tonight. Glenn Jakovic, what an interesting setup we've had with Jakovic and Carey. It's been swung around the honours. You could say it's 2-1 or 2-all, whatever you want to say. But Carey had a terrific match earlier on, and Jakovic tonight was supreme. He was just outstanding. And it is a bittersweet victory in a way for West Coast. I mean, we said, will they bury them at three-quarter time? I thought they might go on and win by 10 goals. North kicked an early goal. West Coast got it back. It looked like the status quo would remain. But to North Melbourne's credit, they charged home and had a real chance. Don't worry about that with 3 minutes to go. They were right in this game.
It was a big ask, wasn't it? They had only managed 3-8 till three-quarter time. And we mentioned a few times about their defence, which had restricted West Coast to just 9 goals, 12. But then they had to kick what's more than 7 goals and stop West Coast from scoring a goal.
Well, they didn't fall far short in the end.
No, it was a top effort. Their character, not
goals.
to be questioned.
It seemed that when they felt the game was lost, that their players started taking risks. Prior to that, early in the game, they were just bombing the ball up, kicking over the man on the mark. But halfway through that last quarter, they thought, oh, well, let's have a go, and started handballing over the man on the mark to the guy running from behind. All of a sudden, they moved it.
Plenty of touch.
Well, Squash was terrific, got the ball. Stevens also, he's had a great game with against Kemp tonight. Those two played both great games for their sides. Kemp, with his 3 goals, just taking the honours.
So, final score, still plenty more to come here from the Wacker, including an interview with Barry Cable and Gary Lyon. It's 10-13 to 9-10.
Footy treat. First up, Sydney and Carlton. Then Adelaide at home to Brisbane. Sunday on 7.